2013. And we will begin our board meeting tonight. Excuse me, you're going to have to excuse my voice. I am a little hoarse, so I'm going to try not to talk that much. We do have the agenda, so we're going to try to get through it as fast as possible. Okay, is there anyone that we'd like to recognize who has passed on in the township? Mr. Michael Cunningham, excuse me. Is there anyone else? Howard Harrison. Okay. Mr. Michael Cunningham and Howard Harrison. I'm going to ask Mrs. Harrison to come and open us up in prayer. Thank you.
Father in heaven, as we come before you tonight to give you thanks and praise and to glorify your holy name. Father, we're here to come to business. And Lord, we want you to do with each and every one of us here tonight. We ask your blessing on each and every one, dear Father. And whatever said and done today, we ask that it will be said in the right way, and that it will be no harm to each one, but it will be done properly, and will come to business and to your business, and everyone will be happy tonight when they leave this place. Lord, be with each and every one. Bless us in your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you so much. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Trustee Harvey. Present. Trustee Thurman. Present. Treasurer Reed. Vice Quorum.
Present.
Secretary is present. Absent. Trustee Ford.
I'd like to make it a matter of record that we do have a quorum. We're down to the part of the agenda where there are citizens' comments. We'll allow 2 minutes for this. We do have citizens' comments after the meeting tonight. So I would like to make it a matter of record. I would like to ask if there are any citizens out there who would like to stand up to ask a question, to make a statement, say something. You may go to the podium, you can stand in line, one behind another. And we'll keep it down to 2 minutes if you don't mind. Yes, sir.
My name is Rudy Serra, and I'm an attorney. I'm a former Oakland County Commissioner, former Human Rights Commissioner for the City of Detroit, former member of the Ferndale Royal Township Pleasant Ridge Board of Education. And tonight, I'm just here to thank you all for your service on the Royal Oak Township Board. Royal Oak Township and I go back a long way. I was the chairman of the DDA back in the 1990s when we had the most successful economic development project in Michigan along 8 Mile Road. I know that you don't get paid much, if anything, for your service. I believe that public service is a vocation. It's not just a job. And I just want to thank you all for your dedication being here tonight. I want to introduce myself to you. And with that, tell you to, keep up the good work. I look forward to working with you in the future.
Okay, and you are running for Elder Lipton seat?
I am a candidate for state representative.
Yes.
I wasn't going to mention that. That's not why I'm here, but thank you. I am going to be running next year.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
My name is Lloyd Bransfield, and I was here in February, March, beginning of the year, and I'm here because the tractor trailers are running up and down my street right there on the interstate highway. I am a tractor trailer driver. I make my living doing that. They're cracking the streets, my street up. And I can't, I'm like, nobody hears me. Because I see some sides of the town that have no trucks, and I see other sides that really need it, that don't have nothing. And I just don't understand why nobody don't care but me. Because I say that because I'm not getting any results. And I've been trying to get this done for 3 years with the other supervisor who's in the penitentiary now. I sent him correspondences in the mail addressing my concerns, but nobody's listening to me. My streets are cracking up because tractor trailers are running up and down my street. And what's going to happen in the long run is my property taxes is going to go up to get the streets repaired. And the only problem with that is that I can't even get the road commission to come down here now to make repairs in the road. But they just, nobody don't seem to care. Well, they don't have the power to do nothing about it. But somebody got to be able to do something, Because, this is my home. I'm not going nowhere. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brassfield, we did finish the ordinance. We got that? Okay. Give it back. So, Mr. Brassfield, she says the ball is now in my court. By the next meeting, we will bring it back and it will be voted on. I had spoke to Mr. Ford. Mr. Ford told me that's all that had to be done is that it needed to go back up to open county. Okay, so the ball is back in my court. She published it, it's back in my court. I believe the same thing with the signs, the gentleman that's sitting back there. So by the next board meeting, I will bring the ordinance back. We'll vote on it and there.
And just for the record, my name is spelled L-O-Y-D, not L-O-L-Y-O-D. Just for the record.
L-O. And how was it being spelled?
L-Y-O-D.
Spelled it like that.
It was in the paperwork.
Oh, that's, okay, now, L.
One. Okay, well, thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're
Hello,
Hello, how are you?
how are you? I just wanted to comment on whatever's going on in our community. I just hope that we can move forward, that we can put all the negativity behind us and work together as a community. We all need to be on one accord because we don't need to just be coming to a meeting just because something's happening. I just wish that we had, like I said, more communication between the community and the citizens so that we can attend meetings on a frequent or more regular basis. I just hope that, like I said, that we can be peaceful. These meetings don't turn into outbursts, that we can just be more civilized and, like I said, work together in all the facets of the township.
There are no more citizens' comments. This is the, I'm sorry.
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
I have a couple questions. I received a water bill. I don't know if this has been discussed yet. I received a recent water bill, and it's indicating that I'm going to be charged $117 quarterly for sewage, of which is based on 2,000 cubic meters of usage, and my water bill was 100 cubic meters of usage. So my question to you is, why is that so much? If clearly I'm $1,900 below that, and that is a base charge for that. So I'm wondering, why are these charges so high, as well as it's $56 for water usage as well, which is, I'm not using as much as what the minimum amount is. And so I'm curious to know, will that stay the same? Why is that amount so extravagant? And so I just try to get some understanding in regards to that. Also, I spoke with, I believe you, Ms. Falls, about CDBG block grants. And it's my understanding that you all give money to fund your youth assistance for programs within the community. The question I ask is, do you have money available for community organizations to be able to get that money outside of Farmville youth assistance, and can community organizations be able to be allotted some of those funds to do programs within the community?
Okay. Now, as far as the latter question, I did speak with Mike Cooper about that. He says it is very, very, very hard to do, but it is possible. I will, either have him contact you or let you contact him about it. And he says it is possible, but it's very, very, very hard to do. As far as your first question, I'm gonna ask, we have the water people sitting right behind you. Could you answer that question for us?
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is if I can get your name and phone number, and we'll pull your account and try and see what's happening, and then we can get back to you directly.
Okay, because it indicates that this is now the minimum rate for water, period, across the board, that these are the minimum rates, and it's gonna be $170 quarterly, no matter what you use.
Yeah, I'm not involved in the billing, I'm involved with operations and maintenance, but I can get you the right person.
Okay.
So I'll get your name and phone number.
Okay.
And then,
I'll make sure you do that. Also, in terms of CDPG, you're saying it's very difficult to do. I guess my question would be is, if monies from the township are being allocated to CDPG funds from the township being allocated to Ferndale Youth Assistance for programs for our youth, and then our youth may not be utilizing those funds, how is it that money should be allocated to youth assistance but not community organizations?
I didn't go that far with him. I just brought the question that you had asked me to him. And as I said, I can give you his number, you can contact you. You can contact him on it, but I will, we will look into that a little bit further. Okay. But that's the, I'm giving you the answer that I got from you.
Okay, well, I would appreciate it, because
I didn't think that you could do it, but I'm not sure you want to.
I am interested. Also, I have an organization called Friendly Royal Township, and we are sponsoring the first annual Kwanzaa celebration at the Recreation Center in collaboration with the Recreation Center on December the 29th, from 4 to 7. We would love you all support and to be able to come out and enjoy the celebration of culture through our first annual Kwanzaa celebration.
Very nice.
Okay?
Is that the community organization that you were referring to, you're asking if Royal Township Community Water is going to be allocated?
That's one of them, yes. I have a couple of community organizations. I've been working with the seniors doing health and wellness. I've been working with the recreation center putting on health and wellness. I have a program coming up in January working with the seniors doing a health and wellness presentation, as well as some film series and some culture enrichment opportunities. Okay? Thank
Okay, we're down to item number 5, the agenda. Go ahead, if you had a chance to review the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, corrections?
I have one item to add, and it is a letter from following disposal, just to receive and file and discuss this outstanding balance. Following disposal. Regarding the outstanding balance and what our plans to take into,
And, I have one to add, and that is, Mr. Tim Willow will be here at 9 o'clock for a closed session. Now, boy, it's up to you. He can sit here throughout the rest of the meeting, there may be a couple of hours, we'll charge hourly, or when he comes at 9 o'clock, we'll go into closed session, when he's through with us, we can resume. It's up to you how to do it, but Mr. Temple will be here to go into Willow from Johnson and Rosetta. To go into closed session. So, how does the board want to handle that?
is it possible to contact me and have me come later?
Take this. Yes, to discuss the lawsuit, the one that, yes. He sat through a meeting, whatever time, I think it was about 2 or 3 hours, he had to be charged for that. So the end of the, board meeting.
Who wants to come out in here?
Tim Willow, from Johnson and Rosado. The attorney that's handling the Dallo.
Oh, okay. No,
Yes,
I can
yes.
hear you.
And we
I'm
have to
sorry, I
go
can't
into,
hear you.
I'm sorry.
No,
We
I
have to
know you
go,
can't help it.
we have to go into a closed session for this.
Okay.
So, board,
Do you want to add that to your?
yes, we have to add this to the agenda. But my question to the board is, when he comes at 9 o'clock, would you like to go into closed session then? He's gonna charge by the hour. Unless you will have him wait till after the board meeting to go into closed session then. It's up to the, it's the board's decision.
And he's still charging by the hour?
Oh, yeah,
After the meeting?
this has happened before. We didn't know he was being charged with the charge. When he sat there, it was about 2 or 3 hours.
How much per hour?
Charge 85 or
He's through the carrier that's appointed counsel. I don't think he'll be long. He just needs to advise the board regarding the status of the litigation.
I don't think that people take a little here.
So if you could all, when you come back, perhaps you could ask for it to be accelerated on the agenda.
Okay, so when he comes, well, we want to add Tim Willow to the agenda now. And when he comes at 9 o'clock, we'll just ask to go into closed session. That's what the board chooses. Okay. Okay, so under, well, we're just gonna add at 9 o'clock, Mr. Willow from Johnson and Rosati will be here.
So you're adding a closed session as an agenda item?
Yes,
And you're part-
yes.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what time, at 9 o'clock, I guess we'll have to be up under supervisor, so that'd be 9, yes. 9K. I mean, 7K. Okay,
I would like to discuss the letter from Blue Cross Blue Shield dated November 6, 2013. That's letter D.
okay, board, you have the agenda with the additions.
Chair, excuse my noise. I mean, I just got one item, it's just a discussion, just for public information. And this would be in regards to leaf pickup for, this month, which will end on the 23rd of November. I just wanted to discuss that, because Friday,
Board, use your mic, please.
I'm sorry. No, I just want to add to the agenda, leaf pickup for the community, which would take effect Monday, and it would end on the 23rd of November. So I know we're a little bit late, but I just want to bring it to the board attention. We need to have Friday need to go out to the residents, indicating and let them know that we will be picking up leaves beginning next week, and it would end on the 23rd of this month. So it's one update on the board on that.
Will we put the signs on the curb like you normally?
Yes.
Okay.
starting next week, ending on December 23rd.
November.
Starting next week, ending on November 23rd.
Excuse me, Mr. Ford, I think that will be November the 26th, the day before Thanksgiving. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving is the
It will
last
be, I'm
day.
sorry, the 26th, I got my calendar.
And
26th.
the last day for compost would be the 29th, the day after Thanksgiving. Or, yeah, how those, you have your calendar. You put that right. Okay, the 27th is the last day for leaf pickup, and the 29th is the last day for compost bags to be picked up. Thank you, Mr. Porter. 27th, Wednesday, the 27th.
I would like to make a motion that we approve this. Approve the agenda for November 14, 2013, following necessary additions and corrections.
Support. It's been moved and supported.
Okay. Motion carried.
Okay, we're down to item number 6, the minutes. Or if you had a chance to review the minutes, I'd like to ask that we approve the minutes for 6A, special meeting October 17, 2013.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes for October 17, 2013, with any necessary corrections. Vote.
It's been moved and supported.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Trustee Garrett?
I said that. You don't have to. Okay.
Motion carried.
Item 6B, to approve, disapprove minutes of regular meeting for October 24, 2013.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes for October 24, 2013, with any necessary corrections.
Madam Clerk, I have questions on these minutes. And it was, it was something that was on here, just what's it called? F, on page 5, F, G, a minute. No, maybe that's not it, hold on. I'm sorry, I should have marked it off, I don't want to hold it, but I will question her about this later. Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, put on this clerk.
Okay. I have a concern on, page 5, D. That was tabled because, that was tabled till we got, some, written verification from, and, 5D.
So page 5.
Said yes, everybody, you know, we discussed that, and, we said we was gonna table that until McKenna come back with an estimate of what, or written notification that he's not, charging us for that extra assignment that was requested by the planning commission and what would, the last.
So we approve the contingent.
Right. It was approved to the, from what you see.
No, it was, I didn't vote for it, okay? I didn't vote to approve it. What I'm saying. No, because he should, I mean, we had some concerns, you know, that he should have a written statement of what he's gonna do for the township, because McKenna doesn't do anything unless he is compensated.
That was doing public health. You're asking for a quote.
Yeah, you're right, it was that,
Okay, board. Yes, it has been moved and supported.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nay?
Are we allowed to do the meeting?
Yes.
Are we allowed to do the meeting?
Yes.
We're not hearing it.
I'm trying to talk as long as I can.
Well, we can hear you now. Please use your rights.
Okay, was there something else that you needed to say, Ms. Turner?
That was it.
Okay.
Motion carried.
Okay, down tonight, item number 7, supervisor. Introduction of Consumers Energy Gas Franchise Renewal Agreement. Dr. Mathis for a little over a week or 2. And we have Ms. Ursula Warren, yes, here, from Consumers Energy.
That's a
And,
horse, Patty.
she will explain the franchise agreement a little bit further.
Good evening, I'm Ursula Warren from Consumers Energy, and we're here today just to introduce the franchise renewal for the township. It simply states the township hereby grants to the Consumers Energy Company of Michigan Corporation its successors and assigns hereinafter called the grantee the right, power, and authority to lay, maintain, and operate gas mains, pipes, and services on, along, across, and under highways, streets, alleys, bridges, waterways, other public places, and to do local gas business in the township for a period of 30 years. We currently have a franchise, but it expired back in 2003. So this is just our attempt to get our books in order to provide continued natural gas service to the township. So today would just be an introduction to the board, and you guys would vote to introduce it, and then next month we'd come back and you would adopt it back into full play. So this is just a formality to introduce it, and then next month you would take a vote as to whether you would adopt it or not. And I understand that it has been reviewed by your attorney.
Is that correct?
Mr. Penton.
Yes, yes. Yes, it was sent not only by me to the attorney, it was also sent by, was it her name, Susan? Yes, yes, so, yes.
So my question is to the board is that whether or not you will allow this to be introduced for a vote next month and to reenact the active franchise agreement between Consumers Energy and Roanoke Township.
Can I ask a question first? If, now, the, agreement expired in what year?
2003.
So, what's the difference in us being up under the franchise agreement as opposed to not? What is the advantage for the township?
Well, the advantage is that in the event that there are problems, it gives us the right to come in and correct the issues, such as a gas main break, installing new lines. When there is no active agreement, we still have the right of way, we still have the easements, but it's just it's a formality in order to make sure that everything is in its proper order.
So my question is, should we have on the agenda to introduce the ordinance?
Yes, that's what this is in the introduction of the ordinance.
Yeah, I know, but that's not what is on the agenda. On our agenda, it's not.
Introduction of Consumers Energy Gas Franchise Agreement renewal.
It really wouldn't, should add in the ordinance, introduce the ordinance. The first reading of the ordinance.
And then next month we will vote.
Publishing,
I'm sorry.
we will publish it in between.
Yes, it'll need to be published and then we'll publish it. If you all agree to adopt it, then you'll publish it again afterwards.
Is there, attorney Morgan, is there any way that we could, this agenda has already been approved?
You can entertain a motion to modify
we modify it without the modified agenda without the board? We are missing one person.
You've had the board modify the agenda already at the beginning of the meeting without the full board present. So we have a quorum. It's up to the pleasure of this board. We do have another meeting, I suppose, the next meeting you could actually formally state it on your agenda and introduce it at that time at the end of the month.
Is that a problem for you? Ursula, if you were able to our next meeting? In 2 weeks.
Now, 2 weeks, the next regular meeting would be on Thanksgiving Day, so it's not in 2 weeks.
I can't say yes because I may have something scheduled for another review, so that's why I say I hesitate. If you don't need me here to adopt it, which you don't, because I've already explained to you guys, and yeah, that's okay.
Oh, yeah,
Now, can we still vote on it on December 12th at that point?
that would, now, after we introduce it, we need how many days to publish it? 10, 30 days to publish it? Or with-
Then we'll have a second meeting in December.
Yeah, we have 2 meetings a month.
Then that's when we need to discuss it. That's not necessary.
No, it's not necessary, thank you. So we can put this on the agenda for the next meeting to, introduce the ordinance. Is that correct?
So is there, what would be the date for the next meeting?
Actually, I don't even know yet. Because, the next meeting would have been on, actually what should have happened this month is that the meeting should have been changed around, I believe. We should have this meeting last week, and 2 weeks later.
What we'll do is the board is get together and try to come up with a date of the second meeting before the end of November. And at that time, we'll have this item added to the agenda.
That sounds good. And then we'll, just plan on coming back at the end of December, towards the end of December to ratify. Okay.
Because we definitely need the services.
Well, you're not in danger of losing the service, it's just a matter of that.
Thank you, Ms. Warren. Item number, 7B. Mr. Tim Prince, from the Oakland County Water Resources Commission. And, excuse me, I'm sorry, your name again?
I'm Karen Stickle from Rural Park.
Karen Stickle.
So I was at the last township board meeting, and we introduced a grant program. It's called the SAW grant. The Water Resource Commissioner operates and maintains the sanitary sewer lines in the township. And what this grant would be to develop what they call as an asset management plan. It would allow us to come in and televise the lines within the township and evaluate the condition, and then consequently make repairs on any of the lines that are in bad shape before they actually fail and cause problems to the residents. So at the last meeting, we talked about putting the plan together. Then once the plan's put together, we can submit another grant application to get construction funding. So it would actually be 2 applications. The first grant would be identify what we need to repair and fix. The second grant would be then, let's get some money to go ahead and help with those repairs. I put an outline together, sort of talking about that particular option. The disadvantage of going after it twice is that the money may run out. So if we go out and do 2 applications, if the money runs out, we're not gonna have any money left over to do the repairs. And all the repairs would end up coming out of the sewer rates. So, and that was one of your questions at the last meeting, was that, what's this gonna do to our rates? If we find a lot of problems, how's that gonna affect our sewer rates? And, essentially, the work that we've done already, the televising we've done, and I think you guys the boards were, at least Don is aware, is that there are issues with the sewer system, and we've had to put money in to fix it. So, the other option, instead of putting the plan together and then going after the construction money, is go right after the construction money at the very beginning. And so it wouldn't be a 2-application process. We could put a plan together based on the information we have right now, and we would submit that with the original application and go after the construction money right now. So Donna, that's what I talked to you on the phone about, is that we've really got 2 options. We can apply twice, but if you do that, there's a risk that construction money runs out. Or we can put 1 application together and go right after the construction money at the very beginning. So I guess I wanted to present those 2 options. Again, if you read the outline there, it's advantages and disadvantages of both options. If you go after 2 of them, you have the potential of getting more money, but the disadvantage is you might not get anything at all for construction. You might get $0 for construction. If you go after just the construction money, there's a pretty good chance you'll get it, so you'll actually get some money to actually do some work. So, in my mind, you're better off just going right after the construction money, because then you don't have the risk of that money running out. But it's really, the township's discretion as to which way you want to do it.
Is there any financial exposure to township if we do not carry out a plan or do construction based on a specific period? Can the general fund be held liable for any of the funds that we receive?
Yeah, the way the resolution reads, or the way the agreement reads, and Karen, you know it better than I do, but, if you go out and look and find problems that need to be fixed, the agreement says you need to go ahead and make those repairs and fix them. But you basically determine the level of service. So if it's something that is very critical and in real bad shape and needs to be fixed, you really aren't going to have a choice. It's something you're going to want to fix. And if you got enough construction funds to do that, you wouldn't have to raise rates. If you don't have enough construction funds to do that, then we would need to raise sewer rates, and then that's how you would fund those additional repairs.
So, to make sure I'm hearing this correctly, if there is determined to be any type of violation, the township does not have the discretion as to whether they fix it or not. We would be automatically required to fix it, meaning the county would fix it and then work on our roads.
Well, the way it's written is that you need to look at this, for the asset management plan, you need to look at your system and you need to develop a long-term plan for addressing these issues. You don't necessarily have to come out a year after the plan is done and have everything fixed. But you have to develop a long-term plan, and you have to develop a rate structure to support that long-term plan. If you have a pipe that's on the verge of collapsing, we recommend that you get that fixed right away. If you have a pipe that says, well, we think we have a couple years left in this pipe, 5 years left in this pipe, you don't have to come out and do it right away. You just have to start to set up a rate structure so that as pipes continue to deteriorate, you can give them a rest. That's for the asset management plan, which is the first option. If you go directly for the construction dollars, it'll be for up to $500,000 of construction, and everything that's in that plan will be being constructed within 3 years. But that will all be covered by the grant.
And that's already based on any problems that you already have identified.
There are some problems that the county has already identified.
Yeah, that would be part of that $500,000. So we're saying, look, based on the televising work we've done, we know there are some problems. Based on the size of the system and the rest of the pipe, we can sort of figure out what we think it's gonna cost to fix the rest of the system.
So what do you need us to do tonight? Because on this agenda, I only see the presentation.
Yeah, that's all I want you to tonight is say, if you want to pursue this grant, and if you do you want to go pursue it as option 1 or option 2?
So you need us to take some action tonight?
Yeah, I need to find out which option you guys want to pursue.
Can I ask a question? Now, we go with construction. We go with construction. And you said that, there's a plan that has to be submitted with this, am I correct?
Yes.
And are you all going to help us to, put this plan together?
Yes, if tonight you say I'd rather go with option 2, which is put the plan together, and that plan is then part of the application. So I would come back to you at your next meeting and say, this is the plan we put together. This is part of the application now. Do you want to submit that for construction funds?
But that's option 1.
No, that's option 2.
So option 2 would be, we would just apply for construction funds, and things that need to be repaired would be based on what's already identified.
It's what's already identified and then extrapolating that to the rest of your system. Because I don't believe $500,000 has been identified with the work, with the investigation work we've already done.
No.
So we'll say, we televised 20% of the system and came up with $100,000 worth of repairs. Based on the age of the system, that was all built at the same time, the type of pipe, where everything is, we can assign a risk and criticality to the rest of the system, even if we haven't physically televised it yet, and we can come up with the full plan. And that would all be done prior to submitting the grant application, so in the next 2 weeks, basically.
And so based on that extrapolation, is there still potential for the township to be responsible for repairing anything in our rates and not go without us having to control?
Well, we would bring that plan back to you at the next meeting. And that plan would tell you, based on what we see, what we're projecting, this is what the rates would have to be. We would bring that back to you. If you want to submit it and go after the construction money out based on that plan, you would do it. If you would say, no, I don't want to go after the construction money, then you wouldn't have to do it.
Why would there be a rate factor? Why would rate factor even be an issue with option 2, which is going to be covered under the $500,000?
Because it's probably gonna, based on what we've seen so far, you're gonna probably have $500,000 worth of repairs, is what we're saying.
And with option 2, you do have to do an asset management plan to turn in with the application. It won't be as robust as the one that would be done under option 1, because you wouldn't have time or the investigation or the funds.
So under option 1, they have you televise everything first, so everything has to be televised, and you can know exactly what needs to be repaired. So what we're saying is that, yeah, you can go ahead and do that and figure out exactly what needs to be repaired, but it's the same problem. Now you've figured out exactly what needs to be repaired, and now you have to, you're gonna have to repair a certain amount of that. And if there's no construction money to help you pay for that, that's all gonna have to be paid for through rates. So what I'm saying is if you go after the construction money, then at least you're guaranteed some money that'll help pay for those repairs versus coming up with a plan not having any money at all to pay for those repairs.
So when you come back to us with option 2, that's what you choose, you have detailed out what the rate increase would be based on the repairs you identified, and you can decide at that time if you want to go with her.
Yes. So these numbers I put in here, we haven't done that plan yet, we haven't looked at it close enough. It's just some numbers that I looked at personally myself. We would have an engineer come in and do a more detailed analysis and come up with, they actually require you to do 20-year projections. So what is it gonna look like, do you think, over the next 20 years? And so that plan would be, that asset management plan would be done, and it would actually have to be part of the application. And then the township would either approve that or not approve it.
who would pay the cost of the engineer? Because a couple of years ago, we were trying to get a grant from Charles and Tucker, that engineering firm. I've been working with the township for years, so you're saying the engineering have to come in, who would bear that cost?
That cost would have to come out of the sewer
Grant
rates.
money?
It would come out of you have a major maintenance fund right now, it would come out of your sewer rates to get that study done.
Are you saying would it come out of our reserve rate?
Yes.
Reserve.
Yes.
We have a reserve and a water reserve, so come out of the sewer reserve.
So let's assume that we have reserve funds.
Yes, we do.
Does the township receive some kind of, estimate of what those engineering costs would be?
The cost I got was $10,000. So that estimate is $10,000. Put that plan together, bring it back to the board.
Do you know how old our system is? System that we have?
It's one of the older systems. Portion that's combined, a portion that's separated.
So what you need tonight, excuse me, is for us, because, excuse me, if I didn't have that, I'm noticing that item A and B under the supervisor, you have to pay, but we do have a full board now, so we can vote to amend the agenda. And, you need us to approve one of the options, is what you need for us to do tonight.
Yeah, yes, if you would like us to go back and fill out the application under option 1, or if you want us to go back and put the application together as option 2, or tell us just go ahead, leave, and don't come back. Whatever the board chooses.
I got one question. One very important question. And I understand exactly from the standpoint of what you guys are explaining, because we had a situation day before yesterday on the store. Same like at 8, I was out there with the drain commission for about 10 hours the other day. I know the system is over. If you look at the money that is going to construction, at least I would prefer doing the east side because that's where the most problems have been occurring. And with the $5,000, it's going to be not a whole lot, but at least you got really a chance to identify, which I know that last year they did a lot of TV in the lines here, and I know a whole lot of lines got messed up here. So this will be the best time to go ahead on and start preparing the system, because it is a design sense, who knows, this combination line there. And we're going to continue having problems. So now, the time we get this money, additional money to repair the system there, I think option 2 will be the best option to go ahead on, because that will be enough. Again, we got money in our reserve for the engineer, that shouldn't be a big deal. So the biggest portion of getting everything taken care of, so that way we won't have a problem or water being raised up. I said, we get a new line. So that's a good idea. Then we go with option 2.
Yes, option B, yes, option 2, excuse me.
Okay, if the cost exceeds $1 million or something like that, we're probably we do $500,000 worth of work on the sewer system, will we be able next year or the following year to apply for another grant for another 500, or is this a one-time?
I think what's going to happen is this is a statewide grant. It's very attractive. I think it's going to be, my opinion, it's probably going to be gone up after the first draw.
It's going to be gone, and communities are limited to $500,000 for construction as part of the grant. So it would be a one-time thing on the $500,000.
Which is better, $500,000 worth of work.
And we will try and make sure, if there does look like there's any increase, we'll make sure that we try and smooth those in and only show that we're going to take care of the worst problems first, and then try and smooth that in so you don't get
Attorney Morgan, have you all the documents?
I think that the EVO this is a grant application, not a guaranteed payment of $500,000. Also, we're just simply talking about what plots money may come out of to repair, have needed or critical repairs of the system. If you don't have this grant or you get less than the amount requested, you still have that money, that chunk of money to go to repairs. If you had nothing, let's say this grant didn't exist, how would you fund repairs? You fund it out of the reserve fund, and then you would have an increase in rates. So this is a way of reducing or lessening or perhaps eliminating, depending on the scope of your repairs, or an increase in rates. So you're shifting the burden financially from these taxpayers in your township to the state of Michigan, essentially. But this is the third meeting I've heard today, actually, on SAW grants. So
it's a very popular program. There's gonna be a lot of people applying. There's gonna be high demand for money.
And that's why I came back and said, maybe you should go with a different option, because if you spend all if you do the plan and then the money runs out, you've got no money available for construction. So.
Is it also, that if we apply for this, if you receive the money that we apply for the grant, that if we don't have the money to pay for the rest, will we have to pay the grant back? Will we have to pay the grant back?
Yeah.
Well, you'll be applying for $500,000 construction money, and as long as you do that construction within 3 years, you will not have to.
So what if it's over the $500,000? So it's still safe. If it's $1 million, will we have to pay the grant back?
Well, it's the plan that the engineer is doing, and I'm not the engineer that is going to be doing this plan over the next couple of weeks. That's after time, you've done a lot of work on your system. If it identifies $750,000 worth instead of $500,000, what you'll have to do is you'll say, we're applying for $500,000 in construction money, and we're going to look at our rates and set up a rate structure to start to do the rest of this work.
Okay, is it required to do that?
If it's, so they say, so you go through your camera, you put a camera through the system. The worst grade is a 5. The 5 says, you've got imminent failure here. This line is gonna fail. You need to come in and fix it right away. So, again, if we say that you're gonna have all these 5s, the engineer comes back and says, yes, you're gonna have a lot of 5s here. You'll have to say that we're gonna fix the pipe that is gonna fail, it has imminent failure. So you'll know those numbers when we come back at the next meeting, though. You'll see the plan, you'll see the numbers, you'll see the projected rates, and then you can make that decision.
But I mean, if the pipes are 5, you don't know about it. They're about ready to collapse anyway, so we're starting to think about repairing them.
We've seen some of those this year that failed, and then we came in and fixed it, and it's very expensive to do it. If you can get in there and do it trenchless before it fails, you don't have to dig it up, you can leave inside that pipe. It's a lot less expensive. So, my feeling is if you don't take advantage of this, you're going to wait for it to fail, and it's going to end up costing you more in the long run, because you're going to have to dig it up and replace it, and that cost to repair it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 times as much as if you would have fixed it before it failed. The system's old, it's getting older, and it's starting to have problems. I'm sorry.
Okay, you can answer the question, but this is the first time, but you can ask me a question, but let him ask, you can answer her question. Mr. Ford did ask me, he said he would like them to start on the east side. Where the east side? East side of Wyoming. East side of Wyoming to Richardale, because that's, I believe, the oldest part.
That's our most trouble area. That's where we've been having the majority of the problem with.
Is that your combined section as well?
Yes, yes.
We could obviously we'll work with the township or whoever you want us to work with if you've got a certain prioritization, if you've got a certain sequence, I mean, we'll work with whatever areas you want. you know, you want us to take a look at.
Okay, so to the attorney and to the board, we can, since we have a full board now, we can amend the agenda. Also, I'm gonna ask the board that we, go back to item A. And, also, since we have a full board now, Mr. Owens, trustee Owens is here, that we, approve the ordinance. And, so board, can I have a motion to amend the agenda, please?
I'd like to make a motion that we go back and amend the agenda. Support.
Moved and supported. For items A and B to, for the franchise agreement, um, ordinance. First reading.
First reading.
Yes.
Yeah, franchise ordinance.
Yes. And to approve either item, option 1 or option 2 of the SAW grant.
Chair, before, because it has to be removed from the table first. And it needs to be considered, for option 1 and 2.
What has to be removed from the table, Mr. Ford? We didn't table anything.
Hold on 1 minute. Back to the supervisor. SAW grant.
Are you talking about the
No,
last?
we tabled the SAW grant until we review the document, we receive everything. So we still have to go back to 7B. Because the motion by Reed, second by Harvey, to table SAW grant agreement until we review the document we just received. So you have to remove that from the table.
Okay, that's fine, Mr. Ford.
Option 1.
Is this the same as the SAW grant agreement that we had at the last meeting?
Last meeting, you presented option 1.
Right.
Okay.
So if you are gonna tell us to go back, we'll redo it and submit it as option 2 at the next meeting.
Okay, so Mr. Ford, you're correct. Can I have a motion? He's gonna do it. He's gonna.
Madam Chair, I
Yes.
move that I add a couple items.
Okay, while we're amending agendas, trustee Owens would like to add.
So this would be G, I would.
No, G-H would be I.
It would be I.
Yes.
I discuss the properties being moved to the township.
Okay, that's under, yes, that's under, treasury.
I would like to discuss the deficit elimination plan for 2014. If we need to get that meeting there, put it together. We can submit it.
You mean the budget or?
Yeah, for 2014 budget.
Budget, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, 2014.
Okay. What was added to? He would like to add discussion of the 2014 budget. Okay.
And then item J, one item, about the garnishment.
We have a full board. We have a full, let me explain to the citizens what's going on. Okay, what has happened is, up under, items 7A and 7B, we're now going to amend the agenda so that we can approve both items 7A and 7B. And since we are amending the agenda, Mr. Owens had 2 items that he would like to add under trustees. So that's what we're doing right now.
Now, what was 7, I didn't hear.
Set,
What the amendment was for.
Item 10I,
No, no, no,
to
no, no.
discuss the budget.
Back to the supervisor, what were the amendments that you're adding?
Okay, to introduce the first reading of the franchise agreement. Yes.
The ordinance, not a budget.
Yes.
The ordinance, okay. And B was to remove from the table the sovereign or something?
Yes, that would have to be B,
7B.
to remove,
From the table, remove 7B from the table.
was it 7B in the last agenda? Was it 7B?
That was the 20, it was the 20.
Yes, I removed item 7B from October 24th.
Okay,
And then C would become to approve or disapprove either option 1 or option 2 of the SAW grant. Mr. Owens, after the budget, what was your other item, Jay?
I wanted to discuss about the,
Oh,
how
you
those
said,
properties being moved back to.
yes, you got that, yes, okay, yeah,
So I'm finished.
okay, all right. Board,
I move to amend the agenda with the addition of item 7A and B, C, water restrictions. And under, trustees, 10A.
no, 10I,
10I.
okay? It's been moved and supported.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay, motion carried.
Okay, so, if you don't mind, we need to go back to 7A. Okay, just take a minute. 7A, introduction of the first reading of the franchise, of the Consumers Energy Franchise Ordinance. Maybe approve or disapprove.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the first reading of the Consumer Energy Franchise Ordinance renewal agreement.
It's been moved and supported.
Thurman,
Yes.
Owens, Ross,
Yes.
Reed. Yes. Carter, Ford, Anthony, yes, motion carried.
Okay, down to item 7B. Remove from the table item 7B from October 24th, 2013 meeting. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we remove from the table item 7B, present solid grant option. Madam Chair, I make a motion to remove 7B from the table, present solid grant option.
Okay, it's been moved. Support. And supported.
All in favor? Any nays? Motion carried.
Item 7C, to approve and or disapprove either item option 1 or option 2 of the SAW grant. Of the SAW grant.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve option 2 of the SAW grant, excuse me, of the SAW grant agreement.
Support.
It's been moved and supported.
Owens,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Strong,
Yes.
Harvey,
Yes.
Thurman. Yes. Three, yes, motion carries.
Yes.
Before I leave, if you could let me know when that November meeting is scheduled,
Mhm.
so I can come back to that meeting, because the application needs to be filed on December 2nd. So
Okay.
I'll come back to your last meeting in November, let me know when that is, and we'll present it then.
Okay, and that's when you'll have the,
Yeah, we'll have the whole package at that time.
okay, thank you.
Is it possible for you to email each board member a copy of the package before that time?
If somebody can give me all the email addresses, I will.
Can you give me your card and I'll send you mine?
Sure.
Yes, study.
The one thing I will mention though is usually you like to have it about a week in advance or so, but because we got this tight time frame, I may only be able to get it to you a day or two ahead of time because the engineers only got a limited amount of time to put it together. So I'll get it to you as soon as I can, if you can let me know who to send it to.
Okay.
Do you have a business card?
Yes, that's how I get it to you.
Since, let me make it since we got four boards, since the board, since 28th of, this Thanksgiving, are we planning on having a board meeting that Wednesday, 27th, or Tuesday, 26th, while we all here?
Okay, thank you. Thank you,
Madam
Tim,
Supervisor.
thank you, Karen.
Madam Supervisor.
Okay.
Madam Supervisor.
Mr. Pat, so could it possibly wait till the end at the
The only,
citizens'
the only
comments?
thing is the people are leaving, the citizens might have some questions that they might like to ask, although I know you voted on it, but something might need to be clear in their minds also. Is it possible that you, because it's pretty close to 9 o'clock now.
Yeah, I know. But Mr. Pettit, this is the thing about asking, we have citizens' comments at the beginning and the end. We have such a lengthy agenda. Almost every person has about
This is
2
just
items
about the end now, isn't it, for the citizens?
for the citizens.
Yeah, because at 9 o'clock you're going into closed session.
But closed session will only last, that closed session may only last 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's not gonna be a long closed session. Yes, okay. Item 7D now. 7D. To approve, disapprove CDBG contract for Joanne Day for 2 years, no more than 250 hours a year at $16.50 an hour. You all have, I'm giving you the information. CDBG has changed the way they're doing things. You used to have 3 years to reprogram, now they're changing it to 2 years. And, speaking to Mike Cooper and others up at CDBG, I will need help doing this. I'm still not that familiar with doing CDBG. Joanne Day is very familiar with it. They gave me this contract to give to her, and the reason how we chose 250 hours a year is because full-time is 1,040 hours a year. So this is not even making her part-time. 520 hours is part-time, so I'm making her basically quarter-time. I won't need her 250 hours, but that's what he said to put on the contract. So, I am asking for Joanne Day's assistance in helping with the CDBG. She will be in my office helping me. So I'm asking the board's approval. The community block grant. She will be helping me with the applications, submitting the applications, and there's a lot of things that, and I can't even begin to say because I'm not that familiar with it. So, yes,
I understand that help is needed, but
yes, it is.
$16.50 an hour, that's more than we pay any of our council employees.
That's the price that Mike Cooper had put on there for Joanne Day. I imagine that's the price that she had been getting for NSP and other things, but that is what was quoted to me. I have my notes, and that's what he told me to put on there. This was,
But as a board, we.
But isn't that the price that that program pays
that's,
their?
you'll be paying.
That's
The township
their,
will, none of this will come out the township
No,
funds.
that's what
CDBG
they
will pay
pay.
on everything.
Let me, give an example. We just had a resident ask about, she has a community foundation. If money from CDBG can be allocated to her community foundation in some manner to help support the township children. If we were able to pay this person less, that means that there would be more money to allocate to a program that is helping the children. So I understand we need the help, but we determine how much a contract is going to pay. It's not community development block grant.
They do.
No.
They do. They do
Why
that.
do we approve the contract?
Because,
We have to approve the contract.
right, they, this, with CDBG, they determine, hourly wages. And those two programs, Ferndale, Youth Assistance, and it's in Oak Park, they both, those two, organizations involve kids in the township.
Attorney, is it mandatory?
Okay, and they have, excuse me, they have been going on for years, okay? And, that's why, they are being funded by CDBG funds. That was a priority that was asked by those two organizations that came to the board. It's been about 4 or 5 years that they have been getting those funds.
I understand this.
And they, right, and they are youth assistance groups that's helping the youth in both Oak Park and Ferndale.
I understand the point you're making. The point I'm trying to make is we have community organizations here in the township that are being supported by several township residents. If it's possible for community development block grant to be allocated to some of those programs that we have a couple, township residents that have programs. If it's possible for funds to be allocated to them, then I think that's something we need to consider. And if we're able to negotiate this rate, maybe there needs more money to be allocated to other categories of the grant.
Attorney, are you familiar with the CDBG fund? Because, I understand the question too, if we can negotiate as a board to bring the cost down and have more funds to go out to the community service, is that an option, or is it strictly that they call and tell you how much each person makes throughout?
I think that from what I know, that this is a package deal. Accept it, don't accept it. The objects to which monies are applied, that's another question, that's a separate question. There may be other funds available, but each of those entities or potential recipients have to, we're not here to do with philanthropic work with federal funds. So, if this board is not comfortable with the proposal as it is, then it could certainly direct the question to be put back to CDBG and asked out. But my understanding is it's a package deal because it comes with the strings and the criteria, the non-discrimination criteria, all the criteria that comes with federal grants. It's a package
So
deal.
my question to the Board of Trustees is how much would you suggest that I go back and say, Mr. Cooper, that this person should be, board?
That's something that we need to discuss and find out too.
Well, let's discuss.
This is to approve, disapprove, we don't say discuss, I guess we can discuss it also too, because, was this a no-bid contract for her, or anybody else looked at for to do this job? Or,
No, was not, no, it's.
Or have we got any other communities that have the same thing, and that, how much are they, can they help, or whoever needs help to do it, I think that we need to table this until we get more information about it.
I have CDBG information that's gonna have to be submitted before the end of the year. Now, I also noticed on here that the clerk has two paper election workers. I don't think that are you going to, uh, RFP that out? You'll pick who you feel you need to. First of all, we know, this board knows, and I think everyone here knows, that Joanne Day has more experience with CDBG. She's been working with it. So why would I go choose someone who doesn't? I don't have the experience. So this is why, and it was brought to me through Mike Cooper and, his manager to choose Joanne Day. We already timed it. They have dropped it down from 3 years to 2 years. We do not want to lose the money.
We understand it, you know, and I agree that you should use somebody who has experience rather than go and recreate the wheel or have a learning curve. What I'm questioning is $16.50 an hour.
Well, I just asked the board, what would you like to pay? What is it that I'm asking? That was the question I asked.
$13 an hour, that's more in line with
$13 an hour.
clerical people are being paid.
Okay.
Or just this rate proposal, I think it is a good idea that, you know, Attorney Morgan said maybe we can go back to Oakland County, since you're indicating that Oakland County is indicating how much we pay her per hour.
Yes, I will take this back.
Right. I would like to get something in writing from them that says we have to pay them, pay this person, they determine the rate rather than we determine the rate. And we're signing the contract.
So what I would do is, board, I'm gonna ask this, that, that's okay, we can table this to the next meeting, to have it next year. Yeah, we can table it. Now, I'm gonna be honest, that'll bring this right in December. I have to have the application in before December.
Madam Chair, me personally, I can't speak for this entire board. For me personally, I know there's a lot of work here involved, and granted, they pretty much read the contract, but simply states in the contract here, all that she will be doing for service agency responsibility. Now, this is the reason why we can't get things done, because if we sit here and think about the amount it's gonna cost, the money's not gonna be
It's
paid.
not even paying out the
She
contract.
can still put some in the CG, she can still put some in there for other entities, treasury, wants to come in, that part, I don't know about, we don't know about it, and other boards know about it. We need an experienced person in here to work. If you look at $16 an hour, and if you're not doing a 40-hour a week, or a month, which that would base out to 160 hours, maybe be something like maybe 10 hours a month, which is nothing, $16 an hour. You spread the numbers out. So I want to move that we go ahead and approve the contract for Joanne Day for 2 years, no more than $250 a year, $16.50 an hour. That's my motion.
Support.
Excuse me, hold on. No, it wasn't a motion to table, I asked, but it wasn't a motion. It's been moved and supported. Madam Clerk, on the question. No, it's been, excuse me, it's been moved and supported. Don't
Now you
even
have
acknowledge
discussion.
it. Hold
Now
on.
you should be discussing it. You don't.
But now she
discuss
is,
it
but
before
she
you have
said
motion.
excuse me, we're having a meeting here. Now, she doesn't want that to happen, is that correct? You don't want to move the support? Okay, forget it, ask the question. Court. Mrs. Carter supported.
I'm not understanding that how all of a sudden the discussion gets cut short and the motion gets put on the floor.
Because that's what your fellow trustee did.
Ford.
Yes.
Carter.
No.
Owen. Reed. No. Clark.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Did you vote?
Motion
Okay, down to item 7E, approve, disapprove, and amendment to Mr. Ford's contract for NSP3. Here we go again. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ford, you are receiving benefits from NSP, will you be abstaining from this vote, or because you're, keep getting money from this, and you can't vote and actually, or you, maybe I should ask the attorney, Mr. Morgan, can he vote on NSP when he's benefiting from it?
Let me see the contract.
Here you go. Pass that. I'm gonna see it back though. And, this is just,
So it depends on how you do these contracts.
I'm quite sure they have. I'm quite sure Mr. Fintech has reviewed that because that contract, this is not a new contract. What's going on is, we just finished our NSP project. And Mr. Ford, who was this contract, he was a part of this contract. All of this was dumped on me when I became supervisor. All of this was previously up under the clerk's department. So when I became supervisor, I had to immediately learn how to do this. And I will admit, I made plenty of mistakes, okay? So we had to finish NSP3. I knew that Mr. Ford was a part of NSP3. So with that and our DPW workers, they went out and they finished the project. I did not know that Mr. Ford's contract had ran out, and what was the date? I did not know his contract had expired. So talking to Mike Cooper, who is at Oakland County, who's over NSP and CDBG, is up under the same roof. He told me, he said, Ms. Qualls, just simply amend the contract to the end of this year. That takes care of it. We can close out NSP. Until all of this is done, NSP is still open. NSP has been closed in every other community except for Rollo Township right now. So we're waiting to close out the NSP. The township will receive its money from NSP, and there are 2 or 3 other people who are waiting to receive their checks. But nothing can be done until this is closed out. Mr. Ford did the work. He was an NSP employee. And like I said, I did not know that his contract had expired. So when we found that out, they said just simply do an amendment. He sent me the amendment. I did not get that amendment. He sent it to me. Just like he sent me this contract to Joanne Day. Do this so that we can go on and move on. Amend the contract to the end of this year. It's over and done with. There will be no more NSP programs so that we can close it out.
I have a question. With Trustee Ford, was he a private contractor at this time?
Mr. Ford?
He was working, like a private contractor, private vendor.
It says vendor.
Do we have a list of all the work he did, he broke down on here? Because I don't see the job that he did.
No, I do have that in my office. I will give that to you. But actually,
and you had time for it, like the time he did it, make it well.
Basically, excuse me, the only thing that this board really has to be concerned with, because all that's been taken care of. Everything that Mr. Ford did to NSP3.
To go back.
To go back to approve the work that he did with our DPW workers.
Exactly, that's what I'm asking.
Yes, and that's just what he did. What month was that, Mr. Ford? August, September?
But how can you say that we don't need to be concerned with what happened in the past if you want us to vote to clear up what happened in the past because it wasn't addressed at that time?
No, I'm not saying that. As far as you want to see all of his work and what he did.
I just asked the question. I don't need to see it right now, but I have another question after that also.
Okay.
He did it with the DPW work, with him being a private contractor, correct?
A vendor.
A vendor, a private vendor, and everything else. Did he use his own equipment, or did he use the township equipment to do whatever work needed to be done?
Basically, Mr. Ford Go on, Mr. Ford.
I oversee the operation, you know, to complete all what was left in as good money. But we went out and identified along with the county, the remainder of the money that was left, to use that money in all the lots where we had all the vacant houses that was used with, NSP money. It was total houses. We went back to all of the three, to clean up those lots.
So you did no physical labor, you were just actually like a supervisor?
I worked, I did both.
Okay, so the question that I asked was with the physical labor, did you use the township equipment?
Yes, we used township equipment.
With you being a private vendor, is that a practice that the township used that?
Well, it wasn't so much of the practice, it's overseeing operation, okay? And again, just like I said, you got your building ground personnel, which through the NSP, which they did work on the weekend. And what I did is same as with the contractors when they took the house, oversee the project to make sure everything was done. Okay? We identified everything, and we removed and cleaned those lots where the house was on those lots.
Well, my question is that with you being a private vendor, you coming in and getting a contract, they pay you to work. You should have your own equipment to do the work. Not using the township equipment, putting wear and tear on that, to do work that you're getting paid for. That means anybody, trustee owns me, anybody can come and say, okay, I want to come and work with the township as a private vendor, but come and use every equipment, like pick up, leave garbage, or anything.
The only equipment that the township, we
This
rent.
was directed at.
Excuse me, but I know because, excuse me, I'm the one that was in above the equipment. And the equipment that was used was a wood chipper. That's the only, and we rented that. That's the only thing. And our township truck pulls the wood chipper. These guys did physical labor, pulling them bushes and them woods and them logs throughout every vacant lot, 9 lots that the houses was demolished on. The only equipment that was used was a wood chipper that we rented from 9 Mile Rental. That's it. Nothing else. No saw, no nothing. They didn't do any cutting. They just pulled it and wood chipper.
Okay.
You know, if we do additional work that we can be compensated for outside our duties as a trustee. So say for instance, if we were doing snow removal and they needed help, we can drive the truck actually and do snow removal. That would be additional money that we could earn as a trustee.
See, better than a trustee, he's coming in as a private vendor. And, private contractor, that's totally different.
But that's the government.
Work as a trustee.
Can I say, please, can I say one more thing? No, please, let's, excuse me, please, let's stop this. Let's put everything in perspective right now. As I said at the last meeting, our treasurer had them investigated by the FBI. They went through that paperwork with a fine-tooth comb. Now, if anybody on this board is smarter than them and can find out where they did something, please get in touch with them. And if they find out that Mr. Ford did something wrong, please let them know so that he can be in prison. But they closed that building, and they went through that building with a fine-tooth comb. And they did not find anything wrong that Rollo Township had did. They know Mr. Ford's background. They know that he's a trustee. So why are we sitting here persecuting this man? When he's been already, when they have turned that building inside out, and I know they have because not only did Mike Cooper come, his supervisor came to the office and told me, red as a tomato, they were very upset. So please, if we are if we're smart and we can find something that the FBI could not find, let them know. But they know that this man is a trustee. They know that he did work for NSP 1, not only NSP 2, I mean 3, but NSP 1. So if they didn't find anything wrong, I'm sure, I'd like to know what you all can find wrong.
Supervisor, I have
What
a
does this have to
question.
do with anything I just said? I was trying to get a clarification.
Because it sounds to me, I don't really, we're not going to, okay. Is everything clear?
I said, okay, well.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question for you, Supervisor. This is the second meeting where you indicated
That-
that I've had someone.
Okay, excuse me. Let me apologize. Yes, I said Mike Cooper and his supervisor.
Told you that I had.
What you did is you called L. Brooks Patterson's office.
Okay.
And from there, the investigation of the FBI started. From there. But they had to, what you call L. Brooks Patterson office, Oakland County on them. So yes, they've been investigated.
And so, but you said I had been investigated by the FBI.
It started with our treasurer from Rollo Township. Yes, you did call the police on Mike Cooper. Is that not correct? You called Oakland County Sheriff on him.
That's not.
Okay, well, that's what I was
I'm
told.
gonna.
It's a matter of record.
Mr. Morgan, I'm making this statement in front of you. The statements that she has just made during the last board meetings are very.
And
as an attorney, I think you need to be talking to her about this.
Excuse me, it's been said to me, to my face, in my face. So yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
And what is his supervisor?
I can't call her name.
I will follow up on that.
Yes, you can follow up on it.
And so now I'm gonna tell everybody, I will be contacting Office Pass, based on the statements that you're telling me in public that.
I think you already did.
No, what I did was,
Okay.
I'll tell you again, what I did was I requested.
I know it's gonna. Okay, so.
Information.
So what I'm saying is that they were investigated because of Rollo Township by the FBI, and they did not find anything on Mr. Ford.
Madam Chairman.
Yes.
We're on agenda item 7.
Yes.
E.
Yes. So approve or disapprove the amendment to Mr. Ford's NSP 3 contract.
The clerk asked whether or not my opinion was that Mr. Ford was eligible to vote on this agenda item, and I don't believe he is based on the fact that he's a vendor and therefore he has a direct interest. With regard to Mr. Harmon's inquiries, the contract lays out the scope of services and obligations. If the board is interested in pursuing that, they should probably put that on a future agenda item to review the scope of the contract itself, rather than use this opportunity now to have an examination of past contracts. As a matter of order.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon. Yes.
Look at your October 24th meeting, when Mr. Ford voted on the NFP 3, and the same question was asked, and it was okay with me to vote, and we were clear with the contract.
Recall that, but we have to look at it. That was
Within a minute, yeah.
The error of this, my opinion here tonight, I believe, is the incorrect statement of the conflict.
That's not dealing with me though.
It didn't matter.
They could have rendered by going there. It's anything about me or not going.
Okay. Can we have a motion to approve or disapprove the amendment
I would like to
to
make a
Mr. Ford's
motion to
contract?
approve, to amend Mr. Ford's contract.
Has it been moved and moved and supported?
Read. Swan.
Yes.
Thurman. Yes. Harden.
No.
Green. No. Motion failed.
Item 7F, to approve, disapprove it. To approve or disapprove payment to Edwin Chevrolet in the amount of $719.30 for the repair of the dump truck. To approve or disapprove the repairs.
Make a motion to approve payment to Edwin Chevrolet in the amount of $719.30 for repair to the dump truck.
We have to, and I'm gonna, is it moved and supported? I have a question. This has to, Mr. Ford supported. We would like to know if, the, DPW workers can get this check tomorrow. We cannot do our leaf pickup without this truck. We would like to get this truck out of repair tomorrow.
Oh, it's still under repair,
Yes,
It's
yes,
done, it's
yes,
ready.
we gotta have it,
We
yes.
can't pick up on
We can't do anything, this is one of the reasons we haven't started our pickup. So, would it be possible, Madam Clerk and Madam Treasurer?
I have an appointment tomorrow, so I'll.
Okay, so that goes down, we're gonna have to talk about our payment to the fire, because that's due tomorrow as well, so we're getting down. Okay.
Okay, now, for the payment for truck, when is this gonna be ready, Monday or Saturday or tomorrow, when? We need to make a decision, but we
We
need
can
to.
process the deal with the normal procedures that we do.
But I'm asking, will it be ready?
After the board approves, and when the availability of funds, we go over the bills and we start the process of doing the payroll. So it will be ready for the next action.
What day is that?
You can get it.
Wednesday.
Just in case something happens. Just in case something happens, I won't block this. We might have support, we have money.
So if it's possible that, Madam Treasurer, or Madam Clerk, can call, let them know that, check is gonna be processed every day. So then, because again, if we,
They're not gonna release that truck.
if we talk to the city and let them know what we plan on doing,
If he had went through the normal process, just put the invoice into the clerk's office, it would have been on tonight's payroll, and he would have had the check as soon as he processed. That's a whole separate issue to go back and do it. I want time, I'm not gonna say Monday, and Monday don't happen, if something happens with the software, so I do need time, if it had been put in, when the time before, tonight, it would have been on your, payable list.
so can we add these two, can we add these items to the accounts payable?
If you get the check when we finish processing.
Okay, but I'm saying, would it be, if we have this, if making a motion, have it added to the accounts payable?
Yeah, when you approve, we're gonna, and if you add it to the accounts payable, then we'll do the accounts payable.
So what type of process is it going to to get that check out?
If you know that you're having a board meeting, and you know that by before last Thursday, that should have been in, so that we could put it on the table, they would have been on the list. And then you would already had it, and then when you approved it, when we go through it and find out what checks that we're gonna pay, then we would have had a check, and it's been ready. That's the normal process.
This is like an emergency because our customers,
How long have you had this invoice?
our residents want their leaves picked up and we need to get that truck in operation as soon as possible. This ain't something that we just have to, I'm just saying, we need to get that truck to the
Still want the
DPW so
normal
they can
process,
do their
still
job.
want to go through the normal process.
So you're saying a check takes 3-4 days for you to cut?
I'm saying that I'm going to process it as I do the rest of it. When
I'm just
we go
saying,
in-
give us some time, we don't wanna
I
hear
just
no
gave you
3-4 days.
time. I told
We
you.
wanna
I
hear,
will.
when can you have it? If you make a motion,
It's been moved and supported.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries.
Okay, just look amazed.
Will we have to change the date, for the leave?
No, it's not, no.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
trying to look up this, to our citizens, Mr. Willow, we would like to go into closed session, we wouldn't want you to stay here throughout the whole meeting that you did before. You said so patiently for about 3 hours, I do apologize for that. How long will this closed session take? That's what I said. Okay, to the residents, if you don't mind, or, we're going to, pardon? Yeah, no.
Can I get a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that, we adjourn, the meeting right now, go into closed session, and we resume after closed session, the regular meeting.
Been moved and supported.
You can't stand the closed session. And I want this check tomorrow.
I want them to get the funding, but I don't have any other choice but to say, no. Okay, one thing I try to think before I make a mistake, okay? Believe me, I've got to feel that I'm doing the right thing. And I hope.
You got it. Motion on it.
No, but I said yes, I answered you and the citizens do.
Okay, excuse me, Mr. You gotta hear who she's asking for.
No.
Alright,
Yes.
for,
No.
briefly, yes. Motion failed.
So, four. We're back to the same question. It didn't get taken. Yes, so, did not get taken. To approve, disapprove, $5,000 park and recreation. The savings for Ferndale Fire. Can I get a resolution?
I got a question, where is the funds coming from?
Clerk, treasurer said that they can get their funds.
We have the bank balances right here, so whoever's making the resolution, or whoever is making the motion, they have the bank balances, they can look in here, and in the motion, say where they want the funds transferred from.
Mr. Ford, we had revenue sharing coming in. Also, but that's okay.
So we have no support, no motion, it's
I think the guys, motion failed. The guys,
I think we have one. Was somebody gonna give a motion?
I make a motion.
Wait a minute, did you entertain a motion?
Yes, I asked for a motion.
the guys.
No, oh, I
Is there
didn't.
time?
The treasurer
Is there
said
time?
that we can look at
She said,
the
we
bank
were
balance
looking at the bank balance.
until in our motion where we want the money to come from. Didn't she say that? I thought I heard her say that.
We also need a resolution to support our insurance, but that is Michigan power laws, you do have to do that. That's why we gotta roll up on the, from the state, with all of those findings, not transfer from property.
Can the resolution be
The
submitted?
resolution should be right here.
Excuse me.
I make a motion that we approve $5,000 to the Recreation Parks and Rec, subject to us receiving the resolution that we need. So that this will be legal.
What is the resolution going to say with it?
We'll make sure we have motion on this.
Excuse me, can I ask you a question?
The resolution
From,
that we previously had,
So is that, which one is that?
with the money that we just transferred over to the parks. I don't know the exact amount, but what I'm saying is we already approved the resolution for them, for that. Why should we have to do another resolution?
well, this one, well, it's gonna come from
From the general check.
from the general savings. From the general savings.
So restate your motion.
I make a motion that we approve $5,000 to the Parks and Rec, subject to us, subject to resolution being provided.
The supervisor, I have the supervisor provide the resolution.
Supervisor provided the resolution.
And that the monies come from general savings. I
General.
think that-
Okay,
I can repeat
I'll
that.
repeat it all. Okay, I make a motion that we approve $5,000 to Parks and Recs, to be taken out of general savings, and the supervisor to provide the resolution.
Subject to the
Subject to
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Subject to the supervisor providing.
Does that sound like a correct motion, attorney?
We supposed to have questions to run the middle of this motion.
You just made it, so it's not. So I asked.
Yeah, repeat.
Approve $5,000 to Parks and Rec, subject to resolution taken from general savings, and the supervisor to provide the resolution.
Attorney Marcus, does that sound like a correct motion?
Every member of this body understands what the resolution will say. If there's ambiguity, then you need to make that clear. We don't have a written resolution. We need a written resolution, but that written resolution should reflect absolutely what the understanding of this body is at this current time.
Well, I don't have a resolution, because I don't have a resolution in front of me. What he's recommending is that we should
He has referenced a prior meeting, I was looking for the minutes of the prior meeting, the resolution was adopted the last time. If that is available for distribution, that would be your model. If it's not, then there's no way that you can satisfy the board members have ambiguity. You just can't say you should know it. You have to show something. If a board member says, I don't know quite what we're doing, it's not in writing, then that to me seems to be a procedure. Sorry. You have forms, you can use that, write it out now, whatever, but.
We have a general resolution for that. And it, I think that's okay. We have a general resolution for that. Okay, so we're down to, item.
We didn't finish voting.
We didn't vote?
I made a motion, I don't know how to say.
Has it been supported?
I support it.
It's been moved and supported. Roll.
Can make it a motion. Make a motion. Amend your motion. Put it in the transfer. Read the motion back out.
He said that you need the motion back.
approve $5,000 to Parks and Rec.
He said to approve the
I'm gonna approve the transfer of $5,000. I'm gonna approve the transfer of $5,000 to the Parks and Rec. For general savings.
Wait, let me rewrite.
Okay. I want to approve $5,000 to Parks and Recreation for general check. No, general savings.
You want to approve $5,000?
He want to approve the
be
transfer.
Yeah. To Parks and Rec for general savings. Right. $5,000 to the supervisor to provide resolution.
Subject to the supervisor. Subject to the supervisor providing the resolution.
Your resolution will say these exact words. Is that what you're thinking?
Yes, I'm proposing that.
We'll say the exact words of the transfer of the funds.
Transferring the $5,000 from general savings. mean, we should be able to do this ourselves without waiting. I mean, we don't want the parts ready to close. Because we expect 1 week to get the paperwork. He said we can write it out. You want to write it out? You want to look at it? I can write it out on a piece of paper. We can do it just like that.
Okay, excuse me, did you have to sit down? You started looking, you got something else, you want to transfer to general savings in the amount, you want to approve transfer to general savings in the amount of $5,000, subject to the supervisor to sign a resolution. Okay, is there anything else that you want to say?
And the resolution will be just what I stated, $5,000 transfer.
Resolution as stated, right?
Right, it's exactly as I stated.
The resolution will be a general resolution like the one last. Yeah, the general, like I provided, like the one we had, that should have been in these minutes, but then we could have pretty much, said what it was.
You need to read the resolution, and if it's not with the moving party.
It's approved transfer to general fund in the amount of $5,000, subject to the supervisor providing the resolution and the resolution as stated, as you say. Okay.
Did you take a roll call?
If I need somebody to, who moved it? I support it. You know, you redid it. Third, yes. Four.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Three. Hart.
No.
Ross.
Yes.
Rachel, motion carried.
Hey, I don't even know what number this is now. JK, Pam, discuss payment to Ferndale Fire. Has to be delivered by hand tomorrow, November the 15th.
Attorney Morgan, we have to appoint to how do you suggest we figure this out?
And the payment is $5,000 less. So, I mean, it was, this is a savings to us. I don't, what's the total payment now? It used to be, what was it, 25, 26? Now they broke it down to, I don't have mine.
Attorney probably know the amount that.
This sounds like we get the contract for this, so I'm not.
Not yet, not having been amended or.
The contract has been, but they haven't
For
sent
that
a
other payment that
contract
we
yet.
paid.
As it states in the email, that's all I have is what I can give to you all from, Mrs. Lynch at Ferndale. Just because, we don't have to, no, we do not have to vote on a contract that went between, Ferndale Board. Just touching base regarding the Rollo Township contract. It might be easier to give us more time if we can wait until the week of November 25th to approve the contract. I need my packet info by today, and we don't have contract ready yet from Dan. We still need a payment by November 15th, and you can use the lower number. The lower number is $20,833.33, as opposed to, it used to be, what was it, 26,000? The number that was, the amount that we'll be paying is now $20,833. And, $20,833.33.
Attorney Morgan, now how can we get this done tonight? Well, maybe I need to ask.
First of all, when I received the contract, I received the check again, we're talking about paying fire, and we're saying it's a savings, but how is it a savings when the fire fund only has $85? If we're talking about transferring money from the general fund in order to help another fund pay their expenses, there has to be some documentation. We were just bringed up with this in a state audit.
So, let me ask this question to this board, to the board of trustees, to the clerk, and to the treasurer. Am I the only one that's gonna do the documentation? We knew this was coming. We knew that we had to have it paid by 15. We knew this. What's supporting documents? Yes, I did, but excuse me.
Payments are accurate, you can't prove payment of funds from a fund that doesn't have funds in it, so you've got to get the money in there, and you've got to have a resolution. To that effect, and you also have to have either the same resolution or separate one that authorizes this payment. And further, that would direct the treasurer to expedite this in any way that she can. And she would, in her own judgment and discretion, without any direction from this board, contact Ferndale and explain to them the circumstances and ask them to work with us. We're really out of time. That's the problem.
How would the motion be worded to have all that happen? One motion, right?
The issue is really not just the resolution. I understand that we need to pay fire taxes, so it will get their money. But there's another issue. And I know that, we all know that these things need to be paid, because I've been listening on cash balances every 2 weeks. Mr. Attorney Warren just spoke to the minute ago. If we have made a budget appropriation, say for example, $2,000 for, so I'm going to use disposal. We've already gave disposal at $2,000. If we need to consider giving them more money in order to pay our disposal costs, we have to amend the budget to increase their appropriation. Or we have to determine if it is legal for us to loan them money to a fund that really doesn't have the ability to pay back. And I've already presented that question to Attorney Pinto. So we all know that these things need to be paid, but it just doesn't make no business sense for us to, in a haphazard manner, pass motions without the documentation, because we're the ones who are gonna come, we're gonna be the ones we're gonna be in trouble later. You know, Ferndale has to be paid. We just need to have a resolution to make sure we have all the documentation. I can give a check to them on Monday. We just need a resolution.
How would we work?
And I don't know, like even for recreation, it's not just a transfer, it really is a repayment of money that we owe them. So the motion and the resolution should state whether it is a budget appropriation or whether you're paying back funds, or whether this is a new loan. I mean, this is not a new concept. All of us, we have veteran board members on here who should be familiar with this process. Excuse me, let me finish. Let me finish.
And then recess to go get the resolution.
Mr. We brought up this matter with Attorney Pinto. Attorney Pinto drew up 2 resolutions for the same purpose. And I gave everybody copies. They were also, we emailed them to every board member.
Madam Chair, let me see what I got to say. Madam Chair, I have to agree with you, disagree with you. First of all, I am a veteran, a board member. Madam Treasurer. Now, when our past treasurer brought stuff, she brought stuff to the table. She did not wait to get to the table in front of the public eye to let us know what we should have done. Okay? No, wait a minute, you just mentioned the veteran. No, wait a minute, let me speak. It's time out for point here. Okay? You know what was on the agenda. You got the same package that I got, okay? Now, if you know that we should have had the resolution and everything, should it have not been your job to contact the supervisor, let them know that, okay, then plan on doing it for parking and do this, that. We need to do ABC. Don't put me out in front of all this and tell folks, I'm veteran, I don't know, you make like me feel like we don't know what to do. Our past treasurer made sure that we had information in front of us. Let's get this up right now. I'm here to work with this board. I'm not here to do anything. I'm gonna take care of this resolution. So either we gonna do what we gotta do, if we're not gonna get the resolution, if we had to go into a meeting next week, let's do this. I mean, it's time out for point fakes. Let's take care of the business at hand.
Mr. Ford, let me say this.
That's
Of
all we
course,
need
as
to do.
treasurer, I can recommend a resolution, but I can't do that if I don't know if the funds that are gonna be transferred are going to be a budget appropriation, a loan, a repayment of a loan, what is gonna be the character of the resolution? That's something the board has to decide.
But when the person made the motion, why did you ask that person to amend the motion to have it included in there?
We haven't made a motion.
He made a motion, prior to, this right here, with the 5,000. I know we on fire, but I'm going back to the 5,000. Why didn't you have to make a motion to amend this motion, to have what information that you just spoke to reflect in that motion? This is the discussion item. All the judge said the check. All you have to do is say, okay, we don't have the proper documents, A, B, C, D. That's what this is right here. She won't know about the check. Okay, this is discussion. It's not an action item because it don't say approve. It just says get the money over there. How we gonna go about doing this?
So Mr. Ford just brought up that this is not an approval item.
Yes, it is.
This
Read
is
it
a
right
discussion
there.
item, discussion item.
Because I'm gonna tell you why it was discussed, because I just knew that we all know that that fire gotta be paid on the 15th. So I didn't think that there was any type of, my discussion was who gonna deliver the check. You know, just like for last month. Who's gonna deliver the check?
There's no money in the fund at this point for business.
Excuse me.
Madam Chair, I just gotta say something. You know, listening to you all back here, you know, it's like you playing games and different things. And you know, these residents don't want to hear that we don't have no fire. I mean, all you gotta do is inform us what we need, Madam Treasurer, so that we can handle this business, because that's your job, is to communicate, okay? You're a
The problem
servant.
is that you don't know what your job is.
You're a servant.
You don't know what your job is.
You are a servant.
That's the problem.
And you're a paid servant.
You don't know what your job is.
So,
It's the board's responsibility, it's not one person's responsibility.
Yeah, it's your.
Everybody has been getting cash balances, they know that the fire fund has no money. We did this last month, everybody is familiar with the process, that if we need to transfer money from the general fund to any other fund, there needs to be a document. So it's not just my responsibility, we all knew that there was no money in this account.
Would the board like to take a recess while, excuse me, Madam Treasurer, would you like to, excuse me, Madam Treasurer, excuse me. Hello? Would you like to get the resolutions, or would you like me to get the resolutions?
This is not good.
Would the board like to take a recess while I go find the resolutions?
Chair,
I will find the resolutions for everything. I'm sorry, citizens, this is gonna be a long night. I'm sorry.
It's always.
Yes, it is. It most definitely is. Can I have a motion for me to take a recess?
Make a motion that we take a recess for Supervisor Frost.
How are you doing yourself?
So it will be the transfer, resolution to transfer funds from the general fund to the fire fund, the one that I wrote on, I said to the fire fund. Yes, so, yes, in the amount of excuse me, $20,832.33. And there's an 8 in there.
I wish it was.
I wrote it down upstairs in my office. No, excuse me, $20,833.33. Go ahead, and okay. I don't know where it We had a motion to, so it's been, moved and supported, we are now back in session. Okay, so board, down to item,
Really, I don't know. It's the fire, I'm not even going by them.
right, we're discussing fire, payment to fire. So here's the resolution for the board. I guess we have to put this resolution.
Now, too, but I understand everything that needs to be done here. And I'm looking at, the bank balances here, I'm also looking at resolution here. And we need to do just a little bit more, and I guess just with all due respect, based on what Madam Chair had indicated, that she needs to contact appropriate people tomorrow in reference to this thing right here. And we need to go ahead on and find the time to find out how we're gonna do it, because I don't feel comfortable right now. That's just my opinion. I mean, I can't speak for another board member, I'm speaking for me. Based on this right here, I mean, you know, I mean, we just need to do it. I mean, all due respect, I know we need to have this done, but we need to make sure that we do this right. I just don't feel comfortable. And it's just because things firmly, I mean, you know, this is the first time that, I'm sure that,
Are you all open to having a meeting on Saturday so we can sit down and really look at this and make sure we're doing it right?
We have we have a first city council member sitting in here. He's following, speaking, he's a first.
Madam.
What is it that you don't feel comfortable about, Mr. Ford?
It's the thing, we still got to, if you look at the bank balances here, okay? Look at the bank balances.
Yes, sir.
If you go down and if you look at fire, okay, well, I'll just take it back to that'll do for the private test. The treasurer just indicated that she'll make those necessary calls to let them know is that what our intents are, we gonna pay it, but we just got to just add up, a few things got to be added up, because we got to go back to this, I mean, there's some things in there that we got to.
What is it, excuse me, Mr. Ford, I'd like to know, what is it that we can approve tonight that you don't feel comfortable with? If you could just explain to me.
That we need to go and really look further, because I mean, there's some things in there that we got to make sure that we follow, and some things that we need to make sure that we got to let them without know that we do, but based on what the president said, it's not gonna hurt us to let them know that what our intents are, what we plan on doing, that we would have, because either way you go, it's still gonna be delivering things Monday. But at least we get a chance to sit down Saturday and put this together like it's supposed to be done. This is what I'm saying. I don't have a problem coming up this Saturday. That's not what I'm doing.
And that might even give us the opportunity for Attorney Pinto to weigh in about garbage disposal, because again, we owe him, I think it is $7,500. We've already made a transfer to that fund based on what was budgeted. So we need to determine, can the general fund legally loan money to the disposal fund, knowing that they don't have the ability to pay back? I sent an email to Mr. Pintus asking that question, and maybe we can address those all, because we gotta find a way to pay disposal. If we, if he says that we can't loan it, we would have to come and amend the budget to make a higher level of a contribution to a budget appropriation, and we would need to know that so we can amend the budget just to get them paid. And so what do? We vote on fire, but then in the next sentence, when we get to my area, we still need to deal with this fault.
Based on what Madam Chair said, I'm sure that she can contact President Marble or you, Madam Chair, can do that. And it's just a minor thing that we need to, look into and take care of it, and we go from there, because we've already wasted 30 minutes on this item today. And we need to go ahead on and just do it today. I mean,
It could have
just
been
simply do
another
it.
item, it could have been a budget treasurer by now. But whatever the board's call, whatever your call is,
Just discuss items.
whatever your call is, yes.
So do you actually think that Ferndale is going to listen to Treasury Reed
I was gonna call April, I was gonna call April
and
tomorrow.
give us an extension?
I don't
They
know.
already
They-
submitted a letter saying they're going to terminate services.
Yes,
if
and
we
she
don't-
was,
they're
she
not
was,
listening.
she was very clear on that. I mean, I just.
This is the first time they
No,
ever approached us like that.
Excuse me, I'm not trying to be funny, but they, you lower us about $6,000, you lower us $5,000 or something. And we still gonna turn around and ask, I just think.
But we have the resolutions now, I don't
I mean,
understand.
it's not unreasonable, you're not asking for a 2-week extension, you're asking for 2 days. That is not unreasonable.
I know it's not unreasonable, you know.
But what's the problem, and you have the resolution for
You really don't, because the resolution says that we budgeted a certain amount. So far to date, we've already paid this amount, which leaves a balance of this amount. You have the budget amount, you have the amount we paid so far. We know what the budget amount is, since the budget has been amended so many different times. So we don't really have all the information to fill in the resolution. Is it so unreasonable for us to take some time and look at this on Saturday, call them tomorrow?
Can I say this? Can I say this? This is what I like to say. It doesn't matter if we fill in that resolution today or tomorrow. We know one thing, Ferndale Fire is gonna have to be paid. So whatever it is you gotta put in that resolution, that has to be budgeted and amended and appropriated or whatever else, is gonna have to be put in there. Whether it's put in there tonight, tomorrow, or Monday. Because it's very clear that they have to be paid. So whatever it is that you were gonna put in there Saturday, you put it in tomorrow. I mean, it does, what difference does it make? The day, the time putting it in now, it's not gonna change. It's not gonna be changed, what has to be budgeted. It's not gonna change between tonight and Saturday. So, Madam Treasurer, you're gonna have to fill that in, because you are the treasurer. So what difference does it make whether we approve this resolution, subject to you filling in the proper line items budgeted, as opposed to doing it Saturday? Are you saying that once you find out, we may not be able to pay for the fight? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying to you is, and to this board, if we look at the budget, and the budget only has $26,000 appropriated to be transferred from general fund to fire, if we look at that budget, and that's what it said, that means on Saturday, we need to make another decision to make sure that there is a change in the amount that's appropriated.
If you're saying that there is only.
Then if you don't pay on time, don't you have to pay?
Yes.
No, we don't pay a late fee.
No, we don't pay a late fee. They said services will be terminated.
We'll
And so,
be on the news, that's
so here
one
it
thing.
is. So excuse me. So I could call and ask tomorrow. But what if they say no? What if she say Supervisor Squall? We made it quite clear. And if you didn't, now it's gone. Now excuse me. And we have a fire on Saturday or Sunday. Okay, so I mean, you could say I could call tomorrow, but who's gonna say that they say, okay?
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's vote on it, right? 'Cause
The problem is we have a process that we have to,
Why do y'all wait why do you wait till the meeting before you go?
Because we don't have, because this how this board has been doing it.
this is just
Just don't make sense.
Excuse me, that is not true. You all had this in your box. As soon as I got the email, I made copies and gave it to you. Now, as far as putting it on the agenda, yes. And it was Tuesday. Actually, I gave the agenda on Monday. I did put this to everybody and this. You had your agenda Monday, because I didn't come here Tuesday. You had my items on Monday. We didn't get our agenda till yesterday. You had on Monday. I didn't even come here and I was leaving.
What are you gonna do with this matter?
let's continue to vote, because we need to take care of this. I just don't feel good, tabling this, not when this is so serious.
And y'all gonna pay it on time. This getting ridiculous. This ain't no big deal.
Right.
Say no. Stop acting brand new.
Is there a motion?
It was a discussion item, because I'm gonna tell you why it was a discussion item, because I had no knowledge that they knew that, everybody knew that Ferndale Fire has to be paid on the 15th. They are the clerk and the treasurer. I have nothing to do with checks. I have nothing to do with it. I had no idea that the check to pay Ferndale Fire would not be cut. What are they waiting on me for? I don't have anything to do with checks.
But you do know the cash balance has only been $85.
You know as well, Kim, you know as well.
Let's continue with the vote.
This is serious.
It's not a vote item.
So that's why I made a discussion as to who would deliver the check tomorrow. I just didn't think I just knew it would be a check.
Write the check, I'll take it up there. The cop can take it.
Yeah,
You can't kill you.
I just had no idea that, excuse me, I'm
This
be
is
right.
really making us look like we don't know how to take care of
Man, you think you do?
You know, and say, how is this gonna make us look? This is really making us look
None of y'all do.
like we don't know how to
Like
take
y'all
care of
incompetent.
I do not pay the bills. I do not write the check.
This is ridiculous though.
I do not. That's not
This
what
should
the
never
supervisor
happen.
does.
This should
Excuse
never
me, I'd
happen.
like to make it a matter of record, please. I do not pay bills, and nor do I write checks. So I thought that it was just, we knew that the payment is on the 15th of each month. It's been stated.
And they said don't put it in the mail,
You remember from the last meeting, if a citizen remember, you gonna tell me that they said hand deliver it.
That's what they said.
Thank you. Thank you. So I will call Ms. Lynch tomorrow.
Madam Chair, is the vote killed? Is it?
9 a.m. Yes, I just wanted to discuss who was gonna deliver the check. That's all. I had no idea that the check would be cut. I had no idea that would not be done. Okay.
Yeah, we don't need all over the newspaper.
Yeah, it's gonna be really bad for y'all when that manager comes in.
Yes, receive and file supervisor's response to the preliminary review dated October 4th and the treasurer's letter to the preliminary review dated October 27th. Board, may I have a motion to receive and file this tax?
I make a motion to receive and file the information regarding the response to the preliminary review dated October 4th from the treasurer and the supervisor.
The moved it, supported.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nay? Motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion that, excuse me, I don't even know, is this K? Item 7K, to approve, disapprove recommendation of Mr. David Ford to the ZBA for no more than 3 years effective immediately. What has happened is I did, earlier in the year, if you recall, I asked Mr. Dexter Scott. I've seen Mr. Scott a dozen times. Mr. Scott is going to this morning, he never did. The ZBA is gonna have to meet very soon. And I would, I wonder, could a trustee be on Ms. Ballard called McKenna and Associates, and they verified that they could. I called Mr. Ford and asked him, could he be on the ZBA? He said yes. So I asked him that we approve the recommendation. Yes. I'm
sorry, I'm trying to catch it. Madam Chair, I did speak with Mr. Scott this evening. Scott indicated to me that he was interested in.
He indicated that to me for the last 5 months.
He said he would be there first thing Monday morning. I had agreed talk with him, 15 minutes is he practically going home, and he communicated with me that he more than willing, because I mentioned that the board was appointed based on how the vote goes for the CBS, but he said he's interested in you, the first day Monday, so I like to make it motion, he's practically a minute for that. We just, table this until, next board meeting, but he indicated that he will be here first day Monday to get sworn in.
I will send that.
So if we ask them, you just disapprove this item?
Or table,
Table.
table because you know, like I know I've
Yeah,
asked him
first
several
day.
times as
I'd
well.
like
He
to
told
make a
me the
motion
same
that
thing.
we table the recommendation that.
Okay, let's table it.
Second.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right, down to item 8.
Bank balances, I think everybody has a package of bank balances. We have current tax, $760. We have disposal, $145, DDA, $2,156.52, Fannie Adams, $8,969.93, fire, $85, general checking, $35,777.82, general savings, $91,102.99, library, $50,829.04, NSP, $254.17, Parks and Recreation, $9,153.23, payroll checking, $10,340.65, police, $2,246.31, Oak Park tax, $1,484.05, street lighting, $85, township cable, $6,610.19, trust and agency, $18,218.64, charter one, $375.81, charter one, $2,326.17, for a grand total of $240,866.52. Thank you, Ms. Adams. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve bank balances as of November 13, 2013.
All in favor? Aye. Any nay? Motion carried.
The second item is, the library wants to use credit cards. Because they are not a separate entity, the county has to apply for a credit card for their behalf. They are requesting that the library operations manager will deem the issue, credit card, credit limit of $5,000. And Nina Darden, she's the treasurer, and they're requesting that her credit limit be $2,500. The credit cards will have their names on it, but it will also have the township of Willow's name. We have to approve it, we have to provide the bank with copies of the minutes indicating that we approved it, and, the credit card agreement items also have to be completed and submitted to the bank. I emailed you guys earlier, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, with the minutes and with the copy of the credit card applications, and I also have put a copy in the packet. So this would be one decision if we want to, apply for credit cards on their behalf. We did have one before for, Belinda Royal, but Belinda Royal, since that time, has resigned from license. So she, her credit card was credited because she's no longer liable for the limit. So these are the two replacement people.
If Belinda have just one, then why do we need two now?
Well, this is really the library board making a request to the township. And that's what their board approved. That a request is submitted to us to issue them two credit cards in these individuals' names and these credit cards. It's up to us what we do, because ultimately I have to sign the application, that would be at your direction. Their name has to go on the credit card application with the credit limit that we want them to have. But you, the board, have responsibility for the credit card. They haven't been spending because they haven't had a credit card. What they have been doing is requesting that a lot of checks be issued to them so that they can cash that check and go buy program-related items.
Who is, what is, Mr. Dean's, position as library board?
He's the library operations manager, he works in the library.
And Danita Dark is
The treasurer.
And I do know that the library board has always had at least one credit card, and I would just feel comfortable myself.
The process is basically a request if we have to issue a check. If they're using a credit card, they would be using it at their discretion and then submitting their credit card receipts for us to pay their bill out of their funds.
My question was, so it's no one particular purchaser that does purchase for the township. I mean, for the library board, like, you know, I think the board is have one person that one about
Their governing body decides what is going to be purchased and who's going to be responsible for purchasing it. In some cases, if their order is supplies, then their library operations manager does. If they're just ordering things for the visit they're going to have, they have liaisons that kind of buy the things.
So they have their own funding, so this money's gonna come out.
Yes, yes, the library, I mean, if you look at the bank balances, the library has as much money as the general fund. They have $50,000. So anytime.
All right. You have a good one, okay? Thanks for coming. I will. Thanks a lot. I hope it does not this long, 'cause I'm tired too. I'm to the point where I don't want to come no more.
They're spending the money correctly. We gotta approve it as a board. We're also gonna be responsible for how they spend that money, because if we approve it, so why do we get our approval? They got their own funding.
Because they're not a separate unit, we only have one tax ID now, which is the township tax ID. So their board has established a purchasing policy. When they turn in their check request, it has to be aligned with that purchasing policy. So if they're spending over $500, I think it is they have to have two signatures. If it's over $1,000, they actually have three signatures. If it's over $5,000, they have to go out to bid and follow other certain procedures. So they do have a purchasing policy in place. And what they will be doing is turning in their receipts for when they make credit card purchases to the post office. And the post office will be looking at those receipts. But their board is responsible for how they spend their money.
So we don't have no liability as far as how they spend their money and what they purchase, because the credit card people can't come back at the township and say, well, you have an outstanding amount.
If the credit card bill is not paid, the township is responsible. So that's why we would have to make sure that when they turn in their receipts, that we charge that expense to their fund and the money comes out their bank account.
Yeah, I understand that, but I just don't.
Attorney, Morgan, you know, your office did I forwarded this to you all as well about 3 weeks ago. The credit card application. So do we want to table it and wait until we get attorney waiver?
I'd like to make a motion on the table.
Excuse me, what would we be asking him to comment on? How would him reviewing the application make any difference as it relates to concerns you expressed?
I want to be sure that we're not going to be liable for the amounts that they put on these cards. Why do they need 2 cards?
Yeah, we don't like it.
Yeah,
Because
so
we're applying for the credit card. That would be, just like we have any other credit card. We would be responsible because we're applying for the credit card. We would have to make sure that we receive the credit card bill and it's charged to their phone.
So what's wrong with the process they've been using? Why they can't keep doing that?
Because really you have more risk with issuing checks to individual employees and having them take that check to the bank in cash.
They still got to turn in receipts for that money, right? But they still got to
My
turn in.
God, I am ready to go
It
home with this shit.
it is just not a good practice to issue township checks to employees. Because then you have to get into, okay, you gave them a check for $1,000. They went and purchased $400. Then you may have to follow with them several times and make sure they're turning in any of the excess cash over and above what they spent. Whereas when you deal with credit cards, you don't have that same risk. You still have.
Once the bill is paid, they got another 5,000 they can check off. We'll take that money and spend it again, right? They got a $5,000 limit. So say for instance they spend $2,000. Okay, once you pay that, you know, to the credit card company, now they got 5,000 more now. It just seems like
Coming out of the library fund, so you
I
have to trust
understand.
that you have people that are going to spend the money on funds. So that's the purpose of it going through the review process once they turn in their receipts. It's just like we use a Home Depot credit card.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, if we're gonna be responsible as a board for them, and we have these checks and balances, I mean, even more. So now, if we're gonna put our name out there and say that we're gonna be responsible for these credit cards, and something happens where it can't be paid.
And I think we have. We could lower these amounts, if you all are not comfortable with it, you know, even after Attorney Kim has reviewed the documents, we still have to deal with people who are comfortable with issuing tax and credit cards. So maybe we could lower these amounts.
Do they-
We have $15,000.
Do they want?
That was just one account. It was just one account. So we could lower it. We can take it, we still need to, at that time, we didn't need board approval. What has happened is that person offended is no longer backing their credit card. They started out to no, no. Person offended is not the credit card.
So now you gotta deal with somebody else that wants more. As far as, they want the council board and all of this, wasn't really, they didn't require that before.
The township at one time had a credit card for person offended. If we want to apply it here for credit card with us, we still have to have board approval. So it's not just a system of the library, this is just bank process.
Okay, but you say they had a $15,000 limit, but they didn't have to go through the board.
Because at that time, First Independence was underwriting their own credit cards.
Maybe they should look for a bank and do their own underwriting. Maybe they can get it through another bank instead of trying to go.
What is the pleasure? Do we want to take this out?
Yeah, I think also.
You made a motion, with the motion?
I didn't make a motion. I made a motion. Yeah, we need to.
They're gonna come to me as we're gonna have one credit card. We want to
Do they take the check, credit card and use it for supplies in the library?
Right now, what they've been doing is we've been having to write a check to them. And then take the check to the bank and then purchase items. And then we have to follow up with them to make sure they're bringing back either the cash or the receipts to say that they spent on it. They haven't been buying big books because they don't have a credit card. And it's cheaper to go on Amazon and purchase books than to go through some bookstore. So the credit card is for a cost-effective measure of credit. We want them to know, we want to know they have one credit card, we want the attorney to review the documents.
Now, I heard that in the past, that police asked certain employees to be purchasing or get, like a receipt or something, and bring it back to you.
We gave them $1,000, they cannot keep that money for 2 months, they have to get it to the treasury for about a long time, and we all need to read that. Get it to her, and I need the receipts in the office. And I told you that we explained that if it gets to be a problem, we're gonna have to do something else.
You know, I'm gonna tell you, it's a form of audit. It throws a red flag when you do audit and you have checks issued to employees. It's not a good practice.
I'm just saying, if they ask and you issue a check for $300, they should have some documentation, of what they're purchasing, right, the price and everything, so they won't get an excess.
So the issue is that you issue a check to employees and employees taking the checks to the bank for cash, not what they're purchasing. That part of it is covered because they have a procedure in place. Their board approves their purchasing procedure. We don't have any, they're their own governing body, so they determine what they're.
Yeah, my battery gonna die in a minute, probably.
Put those in, put it on your or you still use your hard drive on it. I'm not familiar with it, so I don't know nothing about
I got a lot of space. It's pretty big. I got a lot of space for it. I can show you better than I can tell you.
Is that a 500 gig?
I don't know. I ain't that computer savvy on certain things. But my hard disk drive is like, I have used 266 gigabytes. It's free of 452 gigabytes.
Oh, that's how much I use.
So you used almost half of it. Well, I've had it for a couple of years though.
Yeah, well, you can take it off of there. You can wipe it. Once you get, you can wipe it.
Because I download a lot of movies, videos, a bunch of stuff, and I upload. Like I'm taping now, and I download.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you can transfer them to a DVD.
Yeah.
There should be a lot of them though for that.
We had a lot of discussion about Oakland County Charter.
I put them on YouTube. Did you see the YouTube?
No, I'm going to look at it though this week. I'm sure.
Chargebacks
I gave you the information.
$75,000. That means that we owe Oakland County treasurer $74,323 as of the end of October. If we do not pay this, these funds will be taken out of our next tax settlement. You get an invoice every month. I email it to you all every month. I can also make copies and put it in your box so that this stays on our radar. This is on the payables list. So at some point, we need to be making some payments towards this. I understand we're in the cash crunch, but I want everybody to be aware of that. This is gonna reduce not just the general fund settlement, it reduces police, fire, recreation, library, street lighting, disposal. That's why disposal has this cash crunch now, because we did not pay these invoices during the year, and they took the money from our tax settlement. So this is just a discussion item.
We do have chargebacks every year, don't we? We have chargebacks every year.
Right, but it causes operating.
What is the chargeback?
The chargeback is the same thing that we've had with the mail card. Chargeback is
In this case, these were not all foreclosures. So, Supervisor Clark has been giving us copies of Michigan Tax Tribunal notices when people are taking us to court to have their property tax assessment reduced. Some of these are as a result of that person won. So not all of them have been charged by supervisors. As a matter of fact, the later ones have been Michigan Tax Tribunal, where they appealed their assessment and they won.
They get extra money.
Well, it goes back retroactively because they paid us their taxes.
Right.
So that's why we're up to 74,000, just so the states are making one rate.
That's a lot, but how can we reduce it? What rate would you recommend that we can
Well, I think, Attorney, when we get a notice that a person is going to go to Michigan Tax Tribunal, I think Attorney Pintus appears to work with that, doesn't he? When they go to that level?
One of our attorneys represent us at the tax tribunal.
I know that we have a contract with them for assessment. I thought your firm was hearing that hearing. Okay.
I thought they said last month that the mail file was already paid up.
This is not mail file. That's what I want want to make clear. This is, for example, you as a taxpayer, you don't agree with your property taxes. You come before the board of review and say, I want my taxes reduced. And the board of review says, no, we're not going to reduce your taxes. You have a right to appeal it to Lansing. You still have to pay your taxes, say if they were $2,000 a year. And then they come back and they say your taxes should only been $1,500 for a 4-year period. Now we owe you $2,000. And that's what this is for. The county charges it back to us and then they would pay the taxpayer. These are people who are protesting the taxable, the assessed value of their property.
Well, that's not in Royal Township, that's out in Oakland County.
No, these are properties that are in Royal Township. For example, Kroger's was one of them. So a business can do it, and more of what we're seeing the trend is that businesses and commercial or industrial companies are the ones that are going and protesting, not so much individual property homeowners. Okay. So that's that item. The next item is item G. So what happens each year, and I have this on page 11, there are properties that go up in tax sale through Oakland County. There's 2 auctions held, usually one in August and one in, I think this time it was held in October. Anything that is not sold at the last auction, that the county will deed it automatically to the township unless we tell them in writing that we do not want to take possession of these properties. That is how, in most cases, the township has become property owners, because right now it's still the county's responsibility. If we don't let them know by tomorrow that we don't want these properties, you keep them, then they will become township owners. So the board needs to decide if they want to take possession of these properties.
These are the ones that the land sale property that I gave you is about, how many years? 1, 2, 3, 4, about 10, 12. Okay. I had some, and I did go and look at, here's the, most of these, I have pictures of most of my lots. The first 2 are venture homes already. So those 2 venture already had. The next 3, 4 are vacant lots. The other one, the 21014 Parkside, is a property. It has a home on it. After that, the next 2 are vacant lots, and that last one, 8445, is a property. It has a home on it. So these, we do have quite a few lots already. I don't know what, do you know what it happened if Oakland County takes the lots and they'll probably put some little whatever, then the people will own the lots, okay? They will pay taxes on it. As opposed to us having, which we have over 100 something lots already.
What's going to happen if we tell Oakland County we don't want them, and you go to Oakland County Treasurer's website, there's a list for any properties that did not sell. They'll give, investors the opportunity to come and buy them directly from the county. But as long as the county has ownership, they're responsible for maintaining it. If we don't let them know, we're going to be responsible for boarding up the ones that are homes. We're going to be responsible for putting liability insurance on them. We're going to be responsible for shoveling the snow. And I'm not sure with everything that we have going on, we won't accept that responsibility. Oh, but you have to shovel in front of the house, in front of the lot. Don't you have to shovel the walkway if you own the property?
Madam Chair, I think that
That's an ordinance.
it's a good idea to allow Oakland County to keep these properties, like you say, right now, until we're able to take them, because we gotta maintain them, like she said, and our DPW already can't keep up with the amount of properties we got right now. If we so limited on our personnel and DPW.
So this has to be in tomorrow?
Tomorrow,
And that you weren't
yeah.
gonna be here tomorrow?
No, but I can fax them the letter.
Right.
I can fax them the letter, I mean, it's up to the
If the
board. I
board
can
approves
fax,
it.
yeah, I can take letterhead and from where I'm going to be. Scan, fax, and email them in the letter saying that we do not want to accept responsibility for these projects. Unless, you know, Mrs. Ford, I know you're kind of familiar with the copies in the township, do you think otherwise we should be doing something different?
If we keep, we keep the birthday line.
Why can't y'all sell them, make them not for the township?
That's the question I just had.
So that would be money for the township, if we can sell them. We have, I think Supervisor said over 100 now.
We got 100 properties.
Probably in the near future have developers try to get out there and search for developers now. So I know we have a lot of vacant lots, so it's the board's decision.
Do you think we should just tell them we don't want the ones that have the actual homes on them and keep the vacant lots? You know, give me some direction.
I think, Mr. Ford, don't you think that would be?
That'd be good, take the big lot, because if we got a lot that's adjacent to that lot, then that gives room for the house in there, as opposed to have one single lot.
Okay,
So how would we make the motion if we want to?
let me be clear.
I can give you the numbers, I have all the, numbers and the pictures and everything right here.
So the ones that we're refusing is 25, 33, 355, 016.
Hold on one second.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you said the first two are venture homes. Look at that, so the 41 and the 43 are venture homes. The ones that you, there's only two that you do not want, and that is 16 and 23. The rest of them are vacant lots.
I will prepare a letter tonight, and what I'll do is, no, I only have to tell them the ones that we don't want. Okay, tell me the ones we don't want. The ones we don't want is 25, 33, 355, 016, 25, 33, 376, 023.
So the first two that you may want to say those, I don't know why those are, it's on here. What you know what those are? Are those the ones that Venture just purchased? I wish I had that shit.
When you submit it, you just gonna tell me that we don't want the two houses, right? And all the ones that are next to them,
Right,
so that should cover it.
Yeah.
okay, so just those two, all the other ones, the township is going to take possession.
So, question, is that, do we pay, those we charge back to them? We pay taxes on those? That's additional charge for them?
Yeah. Because they didn't sell for anything, and Oakland County paid us, advanced us monies on those. So they're gonna charge us back to the township.
How much they gave us?
I don't know.
We need to know that too, but that, yeah, the that if you charge them back, now we at 75, we still go to what, 85, 90?
So as a result of the tax sales, you usually get increased chargeback.
Right. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Right, anything that sells for less than what they have advanced us becomes chargeback.
Right. I don't think we can handle no charge like that.
It's always usually around in that number somewhere every year.
Okay, so I'll tell them that those two properties, we do not want to accept responsibility. All right.
We want to keep two
First of all, we want to approve the acceptance of properties belonging to the Charter Township of Illinois, minus the two with the, city numbers, and repeat those two numbers.
253.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the acceptance of the properties from that The two properties, 253316, 2533-023.
This support. All in favor? Aye. Any nay? Motion carries.
The next item is, we received a judgment levy in the case of Charlottetown Corona Bolster versus, B. Smith. I do not recall, Board of Trustees approving that this become a tax levy. So I'm asking, the township board to disapprove the judgment levy, and we find a way to make that payment to Mr. Gatewood out of general operations, and not have it go back.
Madam Chair, with all due respect, that's, these items, the item, 8D, I don't think that, 8D, I don't think that, we should discuss that item, both, I think it would be appropriate. And with all due respect, that we can meet in closed session discuss what this is called, legal ratification. I'm sure it's not discussed in an open meeting, and with all due respect, that we can have that, and we can do it in closed meeting.
Mr. Ford, I'm not sure if you're aware, it's already become a judgment, which is a public document.
But I'm just only respecting, trustee, treasurer, go to close, I would prefer, then we come out and decide, then we deal with the other matters.
The item is there.
I would like to make a motion to approve the judgment levy in the case of Charlotte Township of Water versus Smith related to the payment of John Gatewood and Mark Knight.
Since this is dealing with legal issues, can I have some legal opinion on this? Now, I was at June 22nd, and listened to the tape. And,
That tape was a closed meeting, so.
excuse me,
We should discuss it in open meeting.
excuse me, you know what I was about to say. Now, I was back and listened to that tape, and I know what this board is. So, I don't even understand why this is coming. And this is my question is to, she wants to approve, disapprove the judgment letter. Did we already approve that?
If this body wants to discuss what was discussed in closed session at that June meeting, then it needs to go into closed session.
That's what I, okay.
If this body wants to take an up or down vote based on the motion, not yet with the second of Mr. Hartman, they can do that without going into closed session. If you want to go into what was said and all that sort of thing, then you need.
If not, we don't have sales up for lawsuit here.
If you ask my opinion on whether we should, approve or disapprove, there is a judgment levy that has been in place, the court ordered it. Whether or not this body wants it or debates it, that's a closed session question, but it's there. It will be, the court rules require a certain showing in terms of setting aside these levies.
Well, the fact that we don't have minutes to say that we approve or to go on a tax roll, where are the minutes? When we authorize it to become a tax levy.
We, the review of the resolution by Mr. Hartman when we came out of closed session indicates that the matter would be resolved based on the attorney's advice and suggestions in the closed session.
Yes. Roll call.
It was unanimous. So, without now engaging in discussion of what the attorney said in closed session, in open session, I can relate to you that's the resolution, and that was the recording of the tape itself indicated that it was based on the attorney's suggestion and discussion in closed session.
And after you discuss something in closed session, by law, we cannot tell you what was discussed. But the decision that is made as a result of that discussion has to be done in an open meeting. And the minutes don't say that we were authorizing it to become a tax levy to be paid $90,000 over a 6-year period. So I understand what you're saying. Page 17.
The statement was that it would be, based on the lawyer's recommendation, it was moved and supported. At that point, the only criteria which was discussed publicly after that, apart from what I had recommended to you in closed session, was to ensure that Mrs. Gateway, this was publicly noted, would be signed releases, which she did sign. And it's my opinion that you authorized your legal counsel, our office, to resolve the matter and employ those mechanisms and those means of payment which are reflected here. And the matter was resolved consistent with the direction that you authorized your attorney.
Supervisor Spalding, you said you have a copy of the tape. And I have a copy of the tape. I would like to listen to that. Because another matter that hasn't been addressed, and Clerk Rickey is going to provide, let me see the closed minutes in her office, is that we never approved the minutes for the closed session.
Well, first of all, there ought to have been no.
We did.
If there are minutes, then for a closed session, that would be news to me. Secondly, the motion to go into closed session indicated that any recordings or minutes made that would be turned off. But be that as it may, if you want to discuss the details of what was said in closed session, I'd be happy to go to that in closed session. But
no, I want to hear the tape, because even though it was discussed in the closed session, the minutes still have to be approved in the same manner that other minutes are approved. She would not distribute them to the public. She's supposed to take one copy and pass them around to the board members and let us look at it. They're still supposed to be approved. They just don't become available to the public, and after 1 year, they're destroyed. So what I want to do is,
But we haven't had any closed minutes.
But you're supposed to.
But we haven't followed that routine.
What, okay, so why didn't the
I think she has the handwritten minutes, maybe she just didn't have the time.
We never received a copy of it.
That was in June, she doesn't have the time.
I don't know, but you have to take, and I listen to it.
I didn't take it.
Oh,
But I take where we went into, where we approved the minutes, I can do that.
okay.
I have a question.
I can take this over to them.
I have a question. That on June the 21st, 2013, it was already according to the court document. So at what point, when we went on the closed session June the 22nd, that this wasn't brought out so that we can, and it also had consent judgment for 11, it should have been told to us when we went into open session, just like we just did for the Dallas case. We put it on the minutes to reflect what it needed to say.
well, again, you're asking me what was discussed in closed session, which we ought not have a
I'm not asking you what was
conversation
closed in closed session, I'm saying when we came out of closed session, when we came out of closed session, how come that the motion didn't say what it needed to say to reflect what had already been done the day before?
I don't know what you're referring to the day before. This was a Saturday, a special meeting on a Saturday. Mr. Harvin moved, I quote, "I would like to make a motion that we sign off on the Gatewood lawsuit pending his wife signs off on the proper paperwork." Your attorney said, based on the lawyer's, Harvin, based on the lawyer's recommendation, Owen's support. Squalls, it's been moved and supported. So,
What she's referring to is in the order, it says on June 21st, the parties utilized the services of a mediator, this was negotiable.
exactly.
When it came to us on the 22nd, The motion, when we went back into open session, should have reflected exactly what you all negotiated on the day before.
No, it may reflect it if that's what you wish, but at that point, all that was stated was that this matter would be resolved based on your attorney's recommendation in closed session. But that is what was said, that was the motion, I just read to you the motion.
But the motion does not say that.
And nor did the motion we adopted after we came out of closed session go into any details whatsoever here this evening, and nor is that would have been proper. It said merely that we would accept the settlement based on the recommendation of counsel and the settlement understanding, the settlement agreement. All right, so here you had the same kind of discussion after the facilitation of this matter the day before, which was the facilitator's recommendation. And we came back, we had a discussion about a closed session. So if you're saying there should have been more specificity, it's up to this board to decide the level of specificity. The only specificity that was given in the motion was that the matter would be resolved based on legal representation, and that matter was resolved, I can tell you, without going into closed session. The matter was resolved based on legal's recommendation to you on that Saturday morning in closed session. So you have a motion, and if there's no support, then I guess it dies, but it doesn't.
I don't know, okay, it's been moved and supported.
This is way out there. On the 21st, this was already discussed, and then it came on the 22nd, that this should have been clear to us that we were asking the township residents to be levied, so this to be put on their taxes, because we could have worked out something else. And now it's a judgment already sent to the county saying that it has to be levied.
You could work out something else?
Let
me address that. This board is free at any time to adopt a resolution authorizing payment of this judgment levy out of any fund it chooses. And at that point, a satisfaction of judgment will be entered, and there will be the balance of the levy will be canceled. If this board adopts a resolution at a regularly scheduled notice meeting, at the next meeting, to resolve to pay this judgment, okay? It was a judgment. To pay this judgment in full or in part and provides the necessary funds to do that, a partial satisfaction will be filed. If it pays the whole amount, the judgment levy will have no legal effect and will be terminated because the judgment has satisfied. If it pays nothing, the judgment levy will continue to effect. If it pays half, then the necessary amounts will be deducted from the end of the judgment levy based on the 6th year, the 5th year, the 4th year, however much you want to prepay. So you have the liberty to remove this from the judgment levy. In my opinion, you do not have the liberty to say we will not honor a judgment of a court. If the means of payment are the issue, you can solve that at your next meeting. Pay Mr. Gatewood $90,000, boom, direct counsel to obtain a satisfaction of judgment. We'll do that, we'll be done.
Can I say something to the board, please? And please stop, if I am out for it. The judge ordered this levy to be put on it. Now, mind, either way it goes, whether it's coming out of the taxes in the next 6 years or out of general fund, it's still your tax dollars. I call equalization and finding out how much that is per household. It's not even $5 per household that's paying that is going to be levied onto the taxes per year. Now, another thing, board, keep in mind that we've not out of the woods with the state commission yet. We don't know what the judge is going to decide. What the governor is going to decide for us. If you want to put an emergency manager, Mr. Attorney Morgan, what's the first thing the emergency manager is going to do? He's going to pay himself. We don't know whether it's going to be $40,000, $50,000, $70,000, $75,000. We don't know what it's going to be. So the judge knew that the township was in financial distress. And I know that
And I can't speak on what was said in closed session, but I remember. And they dropped this number down significantly.
Right.
Okay, so that's why I said stop. But, and that is why he decided, in order to ensure that this man receives his money, that it comes off the top of the taxes, instead of trying to pay someone out of your funds where you have financial distress. So either way it goes, it's coming from the taxpayers, whether the taxpayers pay the money into these funds. So whether it's coming out of your general fund or whatever fund, or off of the judgment levy for the taxes, either way it goes, it's taxpayers' money.
But so what I heard you saying, and Mr. Roy didn't dispute it, it's my understanding of reading this judgment that this was negotiated. So are you indicating that the judge is the one who ordered that it be made a tax levy?
Judge entered the order. It was
No,
based
that's
on,
not my
let me complete my statement. I will address what the draft and I will also today. I'm not trying to equivocate. I will answer your question. The judge entered the order. Look at the last page of the order. It is based on a stipulation. That is, it's a consent judgment. It's a consent judgment in order that it not be a judgment of the trial court after a trial in which, shall we say, a different amount of money had been sought. So it is negotiated, and it is, however, the judge doesn't simply blindly sign orders. The judge has to review orders to make sure they are complied with legal sufficiency. The judge did so in this.
Okay, so it was negotiated. And I understand the taxpayers have to pay. But my point is that now we have to pay twice because they've already collected. We've already taxed them during the period when Mr. Baker was here. They have to pay general fund tax. If we were to cut our expenses to pay this $50,000, $15,000 a year, we wouldn't be taxing them a second time and having it become a separate amount. I understand that it's about only $5, but to me, it's the principle of it because I know this is not something we approve. But we have a motion on the floor.
I remember this thing. Excuse me, Attorney Gordon, I remember it is something that we approved. It is. I remember exactly.
We have a motion. There's a motion.
Okay, so there's
It's
a
a motion. What is it?
So I don't excuse me. So what? Let me ask this. This is go back to the very first question. If we already approved it, are we approving it again? What are we doing?
The board is approved an agenda item. The board wishes to have a discussion. The board wishes to raise this issue.
But on September the 22nd, we did vote on it. So why, is this the same thing that we're doing on item? Are we doing it again?
It's the board's choice. The board can make a decision as to whether it's repetitious or whether it has different or additional.
That's what I want to know. Is it different from what we voted on September 22nd?
It is a different resolution not in substance, but in form.
We voted on something September 24th. You have a motion.
Somebody support it? It's been moved and supported. So, Harvey, your motion was to approve the budget, right? Harvey?
Yes.
Ford?
No.
Owens? No. Reed? No. Squab?
No.
Thurman?
No.
Brinkley? No.
Can I ask a question?
The motion?
Now, let me ask this question. So, this, what we did, and does this mean that we do not pay him?
No, it means that your prior resolution still stands.
That's what I thought. Okay. This resolution, we just voted no on. But the one from September 22nd still stands as it is.
What you say September.
Excuse me, June 22nd.
That is
Okay,
still neutral.
2013.
at 12, I have to go back to this. Okay, item 7F. I mean 8F, excuse me.
Approve that we approve $90,000 over John Gable paid out of general fund, $15,000 per year for the next 6 years, with the payment due by March 1st of each year, and that the judgment not be put in tax roll.
It's been moved and supported. Roll call, please.
Madam Chairman, if I may,
Yes.
if you pay this agreed to, it will not affect the judgment levy, because your first payment of whatever will go to the last, be applied to the last year of the levy. So you approve $15,000 today, tomorrow. It will not stop the 2014 $15,000 judgment levy. It will merely move to the 2020 judgment. So you have to understand how it works.
Roll call, please.
Ivan. Ford. No. Harry. No. Owen. Quad.
No.
Reed.
Yes.
Gregg. Yes. Motion carried.
Item 8G.
This item is directing legal counsel to contact the judge and have the order set aside for cancel because the board of trustees is not authorized or agreed to settle the lawsuit in this matter. I move that we approve directing legal counsel to contact the judge in the case of Roland Township versus Smith and have the order set aside or cancel because the board of trustees did not authorize or agree to settle the lawsuit in having $90,000 in the tax roll.
Ford.
It's been moved and supported. You want legal counsel to contact the judge and cancel.
And cancel what? The
The
judge?
yeah, the judge.
No, no. Owen.
No.
Reed.
Yes.
Ford.
No.
Quad.
No.
Ivan. Gregory. Yes. Motion carried.
The next item is quality control. Quality control is old, I want to say $7,500, and they're asking to be paid. They provided us with a letter that indicates, that they need to be paid their funds. We do not have the money in the disposal account. The amount that's budgeted to be set aside to help cover their costs has already been made. And the email has gone out to Attorney Pinchuk to see if legally the general fund, if they have the ability, as it relates to funds available, can loan their money to pay disposal, knowing that disposal really doesn't have the ability to pay it back. Can you do a loan in that manner? Mr. Morgan has been followed up with Mr. Pinchuk to see whether you can entertain or give us some advice.
I have texted Mr. Pentuck and asked him that question.
Okay.
He advises the general fund can loan money to any fund. Its ability to repay is prudential consideration, not a legal one. It's up to the board's pleasure, but as a matter of law, it can be done.
Okay, can you give us that advice?
I think it's right.
Okay. they need to do, I guess we would use this resolution, I think one of them is a long resolution. One of the documents he gave us was a loan resolution. In order to, if the client is paid, if we determine we have to do that based on cash.
It's up to the board whether you want to make this a loan or a payment clause. We do need disposal. So it'll be up to the board.
You know, loan
Or transfer.
A loan or what?
Would they accept a partial payment?
I think he already has.
I mean,
Yeah, I think it needs to pay this.
so he wants the total amount is what you're asking.
And he was going to come here tonight to express, you know, that he understands that during the financial crisis, I think I have a copy of the letter of page 25, but he's a small businessman, and he doesn't have the cash flow to wait for the township to pay him, you know, almost 30 days away. So he's asking to be paid, so there would have to be a separate meeting there. So that's all I have.
Down to item 9, clerk, Madam Clerk.
Approve payroll for approve payroll for November 3rd, 2013, for an amount of $13,448.92.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the payroll for November 3rd, 2013, $448.92.
Support.
All in favor? Aye. Any nay? Motion carried. Approve or disapprove accounts payable in the amount of $547,785.16.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the account payable in the amount of $547,785.16.
Clerk's office has provided 2 reports, one by fund and one, that kind of gives you like a summary, this is what it's over. And I understand that we received the call, like, we have to pay liability insurance. And that cost is allocated between all of the funds, I think except 2 small. Some of the funds haven't had the ability to pay their portion, so we have been making partial payments. Now, I understand the liability company is calling us saying that they need money. Ms. Reynolds, do you know if they will accept another partial payment, or are they asking for past due balance and total to be paid?
They're asking for the past due balance because the portions were not paid in September or October. So they're asked, the balances that's there, that's on the payable, will pay off on both general fund and retention.
So what they've been taking our partial payments are doing is, even though we might have paid general funds portion, they were applying it towards the outstanding balance on the oldest invoice.
Well, what they were doing is all the payments that went in, they were applying those payments to general fund portion and nothing to retention. So we owe $5,000 whatever it is for retention, and we owe a balance of $6,000 for general fund. A little over $6,000.
So when you look at the payables listed and the one that's by fund, this one right here, Joanne, you have yours? If you go down the list, you'll see, when you see MMRNA, that's the liability insurance. And so we need to make payments to MIA. paying $11,000?
Yeah.
So this has, I think we owe them a total of 20. Because they're asking that we pay $11,000, so I think we need to kind of be mindful that we need to pay our liability insurance. I think the last time we paid payables, Mr. Porter and I went over this, and we paid the most crucial things. We didn't do anything, liability insurance for recreation because they need their money to be payroll. We need to look at that and make some kind of payment towards the liability insurance. So, Mr. Ford, can you all come up and kind of go through the list again, so we can all be on the same page about what we're going to pay, prioritize the things?
I have no problem with it, Madam
Because even though our cash balance for general fund is $91,000, we're talking about taking $31,000 of that to pay fire and recreation. So that leaves us 60. But our bills for the general fund alone are 53, and that doesn't include payroll. So we need to kind of go through this and decide what's going to be paid and what's not going to be paid. Also, street lighting. Supervisor Scruggs, were you able to touch base with them regarding the payment line? Okay, so we owe street lighting $9,000. If we're going to at some point authorize a transfer, a loan, that also would have to come out of the $90,000 that we had to give the general. Yeah, well, we just got ready to share, we'll get another one December 31st, maybe $2,000. The question is, we owe street lighting over $9,000, right? We're going to keep our lights on. Supervisor is going to touch base with DTE. Mr. Ford is going to come up, and come up with, we can go through the list and look at our cash balance and determine what needs to be paid. If you all are available Saturday, we can do it on Saturday. Sim Thomas is good for me. We can go through the list and then we can give the list to the clerk so she can go and put everything back on hold and we're not paying. At least what we're going to pay. So I support Mr. Harmon make the motion.
Is that, including the $547 will be approved, is that for the including the 124?
Oh, you mean for, those need to be added, so those will be added to, I don't know if I'm talking about what we have on the list plus the two manual items that were added. So when those, the clerk will add those, you can just make sure they're checked off and we go to the next.
All in favor? Aye. Any motion carried.
Okay, down to item 9C.
Approve or disapprove for the supervisor to vacate all commission appointments who have received complete employment applications required by federal law. Because those positions receive assignments, the board receiving opinions from the attorney stipulating to the fact that those positions are considered being appointed to council. The supervisor should make some new appointments to these positions.
Well, I think these individuals are employees, whether or not they are required to actually make a formal application for employment or not is a decision that this board has to make. It doesn't unmake them employees, it doesn't make them necessarily employees, it's an application, it's not a employment action. So whether or not you have to go through these groups is up to you. You could not do that, but you have to have an understanding that they're employees and that they're subject to the employment criteria of the township. They have to acknowledge that in some way.
When you say that it's up to us whether they do it or not do it, you mean it's up to them whether they do this or not do it? So if they choose not to do it, can it still be a commissioner or whatever, a member of whatever board it is that they're on?
Well, I take it to mean the issue here is whether or not an employment application is filed to sort of bootstrap what their legal status actually is. And so what I'm saying is that their legal status is proof. They're employees. Now the question is, how do you know an employee when you see it? Is it the person that's filed on the application for employment, or is acceptance and continuation of the appointment sufficient acknowledgement of the employment status? Those are up to you, how you want to recognize them as employees. If you're the board, it's up to the board. If the board wants to draw the line and say, no, you're not an employee unless until you file an application, you may do that. Whereas you're an employee, if you continue to serve in these appointments, the board may do that. But the question is not, are they employees or not employees? The question is, what is sufficient for you to acknowledge, or for all parties to recognize that they have this employment relationship? That's my question. You seem to focus on one particular mechanism.
And that's the application. So that's the question. Can the board, does the board have the authority to say that these people can't continue to sit on this board without filing this application?
Yes, you have that.
Attorney Morgan, can you check this? Because I remember reading something, I couldn't pull it up, that in Michigan, anytime you have a person that is considered an employee, there is a document that you have to file with the state of Michigan saying this person now is considered an employee of your organization. So be that a W-4 form, because for example, now the workers' comp carrier requires that you list all elected officials. In order for you to do that, you gotta have some kind of documentation with that demographic information on it.
Well, what you have to report in terms of EEO or other reporting criteria is a statutory obligation, but an application for employment doesn't get you to that end. You could say, look, if you're going to be continuing in this position, you got to come in to the clerk's office and you've got to execute the necessary forms as to withholding and this and that and everything else. Your I-9s, whatever else you require from your normal employees. If you fail to do that, then the relationship, you've not done the minimum of which you require. But again, it seems like they kind of made the employment application be a proxy for everything, and it really is actually an inadequate tool. Because the real issue is that they want clerk officers to fill out all the right forms.
I understand. So you're saying that we can get the same information without having to fill out an employment application and still meet our workers' comp, EEOC, and state of Michigan requirements.
Right, because once they've got those legal documentation, their personnel files are minimally complete with those criteria, then when you, let's say you have an EEO obligation, EEO 1, maybe you fill that out, then you consult the clerk's office, which is your HR, and she reports statistics, and you file your, enumerated employees, are these MERS, are these not MERS, all that comes out of these files.
So what documents do they have to fill out now? Are there are documents that they have to fill out besides the application?
Well, their withholding information, their statement of citizenship, I-9s, receipt for any items they received, I don't know whether they receive township properties. But the clerk has probably a standard approach to these kinds of things.
Okay, so, sorry, now, regardless to whether they receive pay or not, they are considered an employee, is that what you're saying? Because what some of them said, well, we don't want to receive pay. Then that's voluntary.
The nature of the relationship, from my understanding, is that of an employment. We kind of have offered opinions on elected officials and pay, and in some instances, elected officials have said, I want to do this volunteer, I don't want to see any pay. Well, I'll tell you, the Attorney General said, you must receive your pay. If you wish to donate it to any person you wish after that fact, you may, but you can't forego that. I think if I was asked for an opinion without further research, I would say the analogy holds to your employees who serve in a voluntary capacity. I don't think these claims are of that nature, but we can look further if you wish.
Please, because I have another court. I don't think it's going to be on the river. So, I would like to, or just another, everybody's a little bit of this.
I understand, but if they are in the employee hat, there should be a file, there should be the necessary forms to hold the federal state, and be subject to the personnel handbook. If they wish to be true volunteers, we have to examine the specific person, the specific position, and determine whether this is susceptible to a volunteer appointment on a volunteer, non-compensated basis.
Especially I-9, the township really just penalized if you ever audit any reasons you don't have I-9. Because then you don't really know if they're even allowed to work in the United States.
Their work status,
yeah,
or their alien.
So, the documents, can I have, Madam Clerk, may I have a copy of the documents that they should fill out? Up to, and including the application for all the documentation. And, maybe, Mr. Morgan, I can set up a meeting with all of these individuals and yourself so that it can be explained to them because, to lose all this, a lot of people that just say, I don't want to do this anymore. Lose it's been on these boards for years, it's just kind of disturbing.
They were being paid out of the payroll, and they were paid contractors, and we don't have any information. And that's the reason why I was trying to resolve this, so that I would have to report it to the IRS, because that's a whole thing to the state agency, so that we wouldn't have this problem. But at this point, I'm stuck to do that. So this is why I'm bringing it back to the agenda, this matter, is that I'm not trying to be funny, it's certain things and rules that we have to follow. I'm gonna be held liable for it, not, because it could be so many other things, and I just wanted to make it a matter of record, because I am going to do my job.
The contractors, they have to fill out a document to make sure that they receive their 1099 at the end of the year. If it's like Mr. Pickens, I think your company is a corporation, right? You're an attorney, so we're not required to send you a 1099. But for any other vendor that we have, such as quality disposal, and if there are some people, they're doing personal service contracts, and you have to send them a 1099 by law. In order for you to do that, you have to have some information with their name, either their employment identification number, their social security number, some kind of document.
In terms of the past practice, I think the 1099 is probably the method you ought to have used and ought to use for payments made this year. If you need additional information,
They don't have a I don't have that.
Feel free to contact those people because they didn't receive any payments.
That's why.
But that's not the application.
That's why I would do this, try to set a meeting up this week.
Yeah, I'm sorry, ma'am, so what I'm saying is that payments have already been made in this fiscal year, in this chronological year. The township has to account for them somehow. So going forward, they may say, oh, I'm not voluntary, I won't receive any of that, but the clerk of the board must still discharge their obligations to reporting. And what they report is W-2 wages. No, they're not W-2 wages, because they haven't paid as W-2 wages. They're going to be reported as 1099 wages and compensation. And then going forward, ultimately at some point going forward, we've got to figure out who's a volunteer and not subject to this and who's an employee. It doesn't unmake anything on that, it just stores our duties. We're up to date up to what we have to this day. Individuals owe you additional basic minimum, which you would normally find in a 1099. They need to provide it.
We come to this, and the probably be the work. So, this meeting up for you to speak to these individuals. Ask everybody to get a copy of Robert's Rules of Order. It says in there, about meetings that last over 2 hours, and the supervisor can adjourn the meeting. Says, people do have things to do. I'm not, if you want to finish the clerk, you can finish the clerk. I mean, if we go through it quickly, we can. It's 12 midnight. Okay. I'm willing to stay. We did have. Board is, what's the second, the motion to adjourn? It's been moved and supported. Can we call roll to adjourn this meeting?
Not even redoing the whole agenda.
For about 10 minutes after we moved in. It's been moved by Lawrence. You moved and you supported it.
You can't have citizens.
Oh, excuse me.
That's it, but if there's a motion to adjourn.
Well, I'm sorry. The board has chosen that it's too late. No, we got to vote. We have to vote. Vote.
Karen? To close.
To adjourn.
Wow.
Yes.
It's 12 midnight.
And we have been here past 12 midnight before.
Yes.
I just think that's like the craziest stuff ever.
Owen? Harvest? No. Randy? No. Motion carries.
It is 12.
Tomorrow? Yeah. Oh yeah, it'll be up there by then. Matter of fact, I'm gonna try to post it tonight.